is rare.
It's highly unusual for how many years we've been and how many Sox games gone on that something like this occurred. So we're going to have to take a look back and see if there's anything else that Chicago police and the White Sox can do to help prevent this in the future.
A silver sedan hit four crossing the street last night in the 300 block of West 35th. The vehicle did not stop, later crashing on the Dan Ryan near 46th Street. The four people hit by the sedan were hospitalized. Four in the vehicle were also sent to the hospital and then were arrested. The incident happened prior to the game between the Sox and the Rangers. Tara Stamps takes over Cook County Board seat vacated by current Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. The CTU Progressive Union leader was chosen by Democrats only. From 19 applicants, she was sworn in for a seat that covers parts of the west side in the near western suburbs. A Sangamon County judge now has a case that challenges the constitutionality of Illinois' firearm owner's identification card. AM 560's Greg Bishop reports.
The FOID card's been Illinois law for decades. Any Illinoisan wanting to buy or own firearms or ammunition must have a valid card or face criminal penalties. Only 4 states have similar requirements for the purchase and possession of firearms. In Illinois, Gun Save Life founder John Bach brought a case challenging Illinois' FOID law in 2019. He said recent U.S. Supreme Court precedent requires courts to evaluate the text, history, and tradition of the Second Amendment in such challenges.
And of course, there were no FOID cards in 1791, so there's no historical analog the state can point to for legitimizing this unconstitutional restriction of our rights to require people to register, to pay, to exercise their constitutional rights, their fundamental constitutional rights.
In Springfield, I'm Greg Bishop.
A hearing in the case was delayed from April with a new judge. Plaintiffs and the state argued the issue this week. Proposed orders are due the judge in about 21 days. 2 Chicago police officers are recovering. It follows a crash on the northwest side. The officers were in a marked squad car last night with emergency lights activated when they were struck by an SUV in the 3600 block of North Narragansett. City of Naperville remembering a University of Illinois graduate who died after she was savagely attacked while hiking in Germany last week. Moment of silence was held at yesterday's city council meeting honoring Naperville native Eva Liu. The 21-year-old died after she and police are looking for multiple suspects after an Uber driver was violently robbed in suburban New Lenox. While the driver was parked yesterday morning, a stolen white Hyundai Accent approached on Eagle Circle, and 2 male armed with handguns exited wearing masks. They removed the driver from the vehicle and pistol whipped him in the head. His wallet and cell phone were stolen, but the suspect somehow failed to steal the vehicle. Citations are pending after a vehicle crashed into a business on Chicago's south side. Police say that white van was struck by an SUV last night at 46th and Ashland, then jumped the curb and hit a commercial business. No one inside the business was hurt. An audit by the Illinois Auditor General shows repeated major problems within operations at the Illinois State Board of Education, including major issues with licensing and financial reporting. The audit looked at ISB for the last 2 years and found that the organization did not have proper controls in place to monitor the requirements regarding professional educator license renewal. State Representative Brad Halbrook says issues like these are easy to avoid at a large state entity.
It just shows a lack of control at the state level. This is concerning to a lot of us. I think an agency this size that is nearly $10 billion has got to have some accountability.
Halbrook also discussed the potential risks at play due to some of the findings.
We've seen the reports in Chicago, 50 schools on a single kid could do math at grade level, 30 plus schools on a single kid could do reading at grade level. That emanates throughout the entire state.
The audit also found that the state board overstated its budget by $305 million. Expect higher ticket prices in the coming months after the Museum of Science and Industry staff finalized plans to form a union. Workers recently voted to join AFSCME. The MSI employees work in guest experience operations and elsewhere. The White Sox will take it. A replay review and overturn gave the Southsiders a 7-6 win over the Rangers at guaranteed rate. And Sox starter Dylan Cease says the club isn't done fighting for the season just yet.
I think we all agree we haven't played up to our abilities, but we haven't given up. As you can see by today, we're still out there battling. So, hopefully more good things like this continue to happen.
Cubs shut out the Pirates again at PNC Park. Marcus Stroman, 7 innings, giving up just 5 hits in the 4-0 win.
Contextually, I'd say probably the MVP of our group so far, right? Just been very important player, our most valuable player. How do we want to characterize that? He's been really good.
4 teams remain in the hunt for the 2023 Men's College World Series title. 5th-seeded LSU used a pretty dominant performance on the mound to shut out SEC rival Tennessee 5-0 on Tuesday, and TCU cruised to a win over Oral Roberts. The News, a service of Protect and Grow with Tim Stearns, Saturdays at noon. Enjoy weekly discussions to a secure retirement. And a check of traffic and weather's on the way next on AM 560.
Brandon Tatum has lost trust.
I do not have confidence that this particular indictment, none of them, to be honest, are done in good faith. I don't have the confidence that they are not attempting to use political leverage to attack an opponent.
The Officer Tatum Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Attention homeowners. When selling a home, the goal is to minimize your stress and maximize your bottom line. Did you know you can set your selling price and closing date before ever going on the market? Don't go it alone. For over 35 years, the Wexler Group has been minimizing stress for homeowners. Choose one of their top-selling programs. Know your closing date and sale price before ever going on the market. The Instant Offer program allows you to sell fast. No hassle, no sign, no online photos, and no cleanup or clean out. With the Guaranteed Sale program, you'll explode onto the market, going for top dollar while already knowing your bottom line and preferred closing date. Either way, know your closing date and sale price first. With the Wexler Group at Keller Williams Preferred Realty, you choose the closing date and sale price up front, and we do the rest. Call 708-629-5151. That's 708-629-5151 or thewexlergroup.com. Make this move your best move ever. Tammy Northcutt and Ron Wexler are Illinois licensed realtors serving 100% of Chicago and its suburbs.
It seems like everyone is on a complicated diet these days. Gluten-free, keto, metabolic, sugar-free. And with these diets comes special dietary protocol and food products. You can find plenty of advice on your social media sites, but you need expertise to purchase the right food items. A visit to Lil's Dietary Specialty Shop is necessary to shop the best food choices for a medical diet or health plan. Lil's Dietary Specialty Shop stocks all the hard-to-find foods you're looking for, like wheat and dairy alternatives, sugar-free baking mixes, healthy snacks, and more. There's no longer a reason to put off that diet you're supposed to be on when you have Lil's. The staff has personally researched and vetted each item in the store and has plenty of choices in stock.
Lil's Dietary Specialty Shop on 111th Street in Mount Greenwood on the south side of Chicago. Stop in and shop in person or order online at lilsdietary.com and get your items shipped right to your home. lilsdietary.com. Shop, learn, and be healthy.
5:11. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of Verizon. My plan from Verizon is the kind of control we all deserve. Get exactly what you want, only pay for what you need. Get my plan at your local Verizon store today. I-80, Will County, left lane block eastbound at LaGrange Road due to a crash and problems on the Stevenson. Earlier crash being dealt with inbound on the Stevenson between Pulaski and Kedzie. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, mostly sunny and warm. Our high today, 85. It'll be clear to partly cloudy tonight and a low 64. Partly sunny day tomorrow, the high 84. For Friday, sunshine, patchy clouds, and the high Friday at 86. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
63 at O'Hare, 61 Lakefront, 63 in Aurora. And your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answers starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
You don't need to starve yourself to achieve a healthy weight. Candace Rosen's latest book, Forget Dieting, eliminates the guesswork about weight loss. As the pioneer in glucose monitoring for weight loss and improved health, Candace Rosen believes the pancreas is the gatekeeper of poor health versus good health, weight loss versus weight gain. Whether tuning in or testing your blood glucose 90 minutes after you eat a meal or snack, you can leave dieting behind for good. Get the book today and start feeling better tomorrow. That's Forget Dieting at Barnes & Noble or Amazon. Candace Rosen believes in the practice of self-health. You are your primary caregiver, and your physician is just your secondary caregiver. Remember, it's never about the weight. It's about what excess weight represents, present or future poor health. Food is medicine. Forget Dieting. It's all about data-driven fueling. Order Forget Dieting. Available at Barnes & Noble or Amazon.
Hi, this is Pastor Jim Scudder, and I just want to thank all of you that listen to In Grace every day here on WYLL. I would also love to personally invite you to come worship with us at Quinton Road Baptist Church in Lake Zurich. Every Sunday, we open up the Word of God, and we're just thrilled to find out what God has for us. We also are excited because we have an addictions ministry meeting every Friday night at our church, Quinton Road Baptist Church. And the addictions ministry is called Simple Steps. And every Friday, they minister to folks that have these stubborn habits and addictions. If you know someone in that situation, please refer them to simplestepsrecovery.com.
Visit our website today at simplestepsrecovery.com or call us at 800-78-GRACE to learn more and get involved. Together, we can take the simple steps towards a life of freedom from addiction. Again, that's simplestepsrecovery.com. or 800-78-GRACE.
Don't defund the police. Hire the police to protect your business. Rising crime has been crippling business owners in Illinois more and more in the past year. Blue Star Security can protect your most valuable asset, your business, to protect both you and your customers. Blue Star Security is the only security company in Chicago with over 500 off-duty police officers, all W-2 employees.
I'm Anthony Barchetto, president of Blue Star Security and a 20-year law enforcement veteran. Our team is exclusively state-certified active and retired law enforcement professionals who provide the highest standards in security. We serve Fortune 500 companies as well as small businesses and individuals, responding rapidly and seamlessly to each assignment. Blue Star Security's technology allows mobilization of off-duty officers quickly and efficiently. Our primary mission is to provide unparalleled protective services for each assignment with integrity while maintaining our commitment to community service in the Chicagoland area.
Visit online to schedule a free security consultation at bluestarsecurityltd.com. That's bluestarsecurityltd.com.
So what's the trouble here, mister?
I don't understand what happened. I checked my stuff in Chicago, and when we landed in L.A., I came to baggage claim, and there it was, my $10,000 Canoma analyzer in pieces, completely trashed.
Just the facts, buddy. What did you have it packed in?
Well, just the box it came in, but there was all this foam and thick cardboard. It looks sturdy enough.
That's what they all think, pal, till it's too late.
What am I gonna do now? My boss is gonna kill me.
Here's some good advice for you. The next time you transport anything valuable, put it in a Star case, leading manufacturer of custom reusable shipping cases.
So where do I get a Star case?
Now you're getting smart, bub. You can find everything you need to know to order one direct at starcase.com or call 800-822-STAR, where a friendly, knowledgeable sales engineer will be glad to help you design the custom case you need. That's starcase.com or 800-822-7827.
Hi, I'm Randy Donnelly from Donnelly Auctions in Union, Illinois. I want to talk to you about items that you are considering selling. You already know that Donnelly Auctions specializes in things like guns and military, automobiles and motorcycles, and Petroliana. But I want to help you sell what you have collected. We have sold collections of police and fire badges, coin collections, and we've set a world record price for our last license plate auction. I may not be a magician, but I can make your collection disappear and reappear as money in your wallet. Donnelly Auctions is a worldwide marketplace with warehouses of collectibles. If you're selling, we can get you top dollar. If you're a buyer, you can find collectibles that you just can't find anywhere else. Monthly auctions you can view and bid online as well. Contact me at 815-923-7000 or through our website at DonnellyAuctions.com for a free, no-obligation consultation. I'm Randy Donnelly, and I'll see you at the auction.
Rick Borick, host of Unleash Your Wealth.
When the stock market struggles, when inflation is high, you need to start looking through the inventory of all your accounts and say, is every one of these investments working as hard as it could be? Because every month during high inflation that you waste, you're losing 8 or 9% a year.
Unleash Your Wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and our new time at 2 p.m. here on AM 560, The Answer.
Sean Thompson here for my friend Tom Fortino of Alpha Wealth Group. There aren't many people who would knowingly leave their job to start another job for a 30% cut in pay. And yet, people do it every day when they enter retirement. Why enter the exciting new chapter of your life with less money? Why trade the stress of work for more stress in retirement? Tom Fortino of Alpha Wealth Group can help. Just call Tom at 630-934-1855 for your complimentary, customized retirement. It addresses many of the big questions you may have, like what to do about Social Security, managing your investments, and how to create income you can never outlive. You can downsize your house, but don't downsize your lifestyle. Get a complimentary, customized retirement plan at 630-934-1855 or visit alphawealthgroup.com. That's alphawealthgroup.com.
Advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, RWA, an SEC registered investment advisor. RWA and Alpha Wealth Group are independent of each other. Insurance and annuities offered through Alpha Wealth Group, licensed in Illinois.
Cable news. Noisy, out of touch, on repeat. Tired of all the lookalikes? So are we. Salem News Channel is here to change the game. Streaming 24/7, free on your TV with the greatest collection of conservative voices. Home to Dinesh D'Souza, Andrew Wilkow, Brandon Tatum, and more. Like you, we say what's wrong and what's right. Unfiltered and unapologetic. Salem News Channel. We're the answer to the mainstream media. Learn more at snc.tv.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So the news broke at the end of the show yesterday about Hunter Biden's plea deal. And, of course, the fallout was immediate and has been intense over the last 24 hours. We'll take your intensity here, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Here was Jonathan Turley's take on it in the immediacy of the announcement. Jonathan Turley, of course, George Washington University law professor. You see him on Fox all the time if you watch Fox. Here's what he said.
You know, for the average citizen, when it came to Trump, they rolled out a B-52, and this is going to look like a crop duster. That, you know, that you have the son of the president who's at the center of one of the greatest influence peddling scandals in history, and that's saying a lot in Washington, D.C., and he's going to walk away with a couple of misdemeanors and a gun charge that they can likely expunge. That's not going to sit well.
Yeah, and it's not sitting well.
As it should not. I mean, the two tax misdemeanors for failing to pay taxes, he owed $1.2 million in back taxes for 2 years. Where's that income coming from? Burisma, right?
Yeah, the failure to pay, well, or maybe his blowart, the failure to pay more than $200,000 in taxes in 17 and 18, and an income of more than $3 million from his foreign business deals. That's what was reported. But here's the thing, dude. Take it. I mean, there's a lot of issues here,
Right.
and they all fall under the umbrella of equal application of the law or the lack thereof. The differing systems of justice depending on your political influence and affiliation. There's no question that this is at play here. And one thing that I haven't heard a lot of discussion about, we'll bring this up with Cornell law professor William Jacobson when he visits us at the bottom of the 6 o'clock hour. U.S. attorneys do not do misdemeanors.
No, exactly.
You don't do, and not to mention a 5-year investigation that results in a plea deal over a couple of misdemeanors. You think of misdemeanors when you're talking about U.S. Attorney's Office as traffic court, and you're talking to an assistant state's attorney before before the court call. Say and he's got a case, he's got a file of cases as high as
Chicago phone book.
Yeah, right. And so he comes through and he, all right, Dan, 25 miles over the limit. You're gonna, I'm gonna plead not guilty. Okay, well, we have this, we have that. So if you want to plead guilty, then we can do a trial. Otherwise, we'll do this. You'll pay this fee. You'll do this many months of court supervision. If you don't get another ticket, then it won't appear on your record. You won't take the insurance hit. Okay, you want to do that? Okay, let's do that. Okay, great.
They don't
we got
do that.
We got that case cleared. So then when the judge comes in, I mean, if you're talking about U.S. Attorney's Office, the judge comes in, are you ready to proceed? Yeah, we've got all these cases settled, so let's get rid of all these minor cases so that we can focus on what we actually do in this office, which is the big stuff. U.S. attorneys do not do misdemeanor investigation or misdemeanor prosecutions, just as the FBI doesn't do civil investigations. It's almost parallel.
2 years probation instead of jail time, and he's going to have to pay a $25,000 fine. Ooh, big one. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You could always reach us on our text line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. So it wasn't a plea deal, but a cover-up for 5 years.
Well, this is the point that Bill Barr, the former Attorney General, I know we got into a discussion about him yesterday vis-a-vis Trump. Well, here's former Attorney General Barr vis-a-vis Hunter Biden and this case.
Half the country believes there's a double standard of justice, or more than half of the country. I believe there's a double standard, and I've been an insider. And I said even before these pleas were announced, it was critical that the department provide assurance to the American people that these cases are going to be fairly and thoroughly followed through on. And now that burden is especially heavy. These charges, frankly, could have been brought within the first few months after I became Attorney General. I don't see why we've waited 5 years if this is all there is to it.
Well, that's a whole nother obvious point. This is the work product of a 5-year investigation. Also, by the way, and I don't know this offhand, to do a little shepherdizing maybe during a break, but how many tax prosecutions does the U.S. Attorney's Office in Delaware customarily bring in a year? It's not that many, because I think nationally in 2021 there were something like 370 convictions of tax fraud. And again, the prosecutions here are either criminal, especially here on this issue of tax violations. They're either felony prosecutions or they're civil matters where you negotiate with the IRS a payment plan and so on and so forth. That's what it is.
Right.
These misdemeanor charges that you walk away from with no jail time, pretty rare for this to be the province of a U.S. Attorney's Office and the work product of a U.S. Attorney's Office. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Jordan and Antioch, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. So the average person never has to deal with a possible multi-billion-dollar money laundering scheme or the tax implications of that, or most of the stuff that we're discussing right now, U.S. attorneys doing this, that. But what the majority of the people do have to deal with is the one thing that he got off on scot-free, and that's the gun charge. And the reason I say that is, right now, at this moment, right, anybody who owns a firearm or has Second Amendment beliefs or hunts or whatever, you're facing possible felony because you possibly own a plastic pistol brace that's being fought right now as an overreach on the ATF. You have gun dealers and collecting 4473s as part of possible tax investigations, which a 4473 shows no purchase price, no nothing, but they're collecting those records. In this state, if you're not a member of the DeVore lawsuit, then right now, if you are not going to be prepared to register your AR-15, you're a possible felon. If you bought a firearm that's quote-unquote banned on the banned list during what they had was Freedom Week, where the judge ordered a stay, and 1 week later another judge said no. But now you have the Illinois State Police and the Kwame Raoul looking to find those people and possibly make them felons for purchasing a weapon during that 1 week stay.
Yeah, but Jordan, if I could just interrupt. Another case that U.S. attorneys don't bring is this gun case. I mean, yeah, you have gun banning local prosecutors, state attorney generals in places like Illinois. Sure, they will try to stick up otherwise law-abiding gun owners. That's for sure. But this is another case U.S. attorneys' offices don't bring.
Right, and so all of this that the average guy, me, I had to pay $200 for the DeVore lawsuit. I had to get in on another lawsuit so that I could keep my brace. And I'm doing everything I can to try to fight off this. And this guy walks off on a blatant lying on a 4473, which if you've ever purchased a firearm and you've gone to a dealer, they are very, very strict on making sure you fill out that paperwork properly and to the letter.
Well, he was a crack addict who lied on his application.
Thanks for the
And then he wanted to get rid of the gun, and he put it in a garbage can in a school ground. Wow, and then he had a girlfriend of his go and try and retrieve it. She couldn't find it. Then the Secret Service.
And I know
reckless
we can talk about
handling of a weapon.
Yeah, we can talk about that, and we can talk about the fact that Weiss's office, the U.S. Attorney in Delaware, initially indicated that they had evidence of willful tax evasion, which should have merited felony charges. And we can talk about the IRS whistleblower that says that his case was being treated differently, the Hunter Biden investigation that didn't follow normal protocols, this IRS whistleblower. But you understand that this is all a smokescreen. This is all to wrap up the Biden Inc. investigation, just as we told you would happen on this show, have him plead out to lesser charges, for them to be able to point to, I'm still proud of my son, says the big guy, and this is an independent Department of Justice, and look, my son was held accountable under the law, and I respect the process. Now let's turn our attention to Trump. That's the whole thing is the pivot here.
Well, he did have his first campaign appearance on Saturday, so I don't know. They want to take care of that before he starts campaigning again for another 4 years.
All right, we'll take more of your calls at 5:38 on this, and also fold in some of what Tucker Carlson had to say on the topic. That's 5:38.
And also, he settled with the baby mama, too. We'll explain. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
64 degrees at 5:31 on AM 560, The Answer. The Coast Guard says underwater noise has been detected in the search for a submarine that disappeared while exploring the wreck of the Titanic. The Coast Guard saying last night that a Canadian rescue aircraft detected cavitation noises in the search area. Search efforts for the vessel are focused on about 900 miles, or a patch of ocean about 900 miles east of Massachusetts. The top Republican investigating President Biden's son says he got off easy after pleading guilty to tax misdemeanors.
Money has come from foreign entities into shell companies, moved to other shell companies by the president, and paid members of his family all the way down to grandchildren as well.
During a town hall with Sean Hannity on Fox News Tuesday night, GOP presidential candidate Tim Scott said the plea deal's dangerous.
It's dangerous. Let me just say, we all know this, that the big guy has some explaining to do.
House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer called it a sweetheart deal and a slap on the wrist. A judge has set a trial date for former President Donald Trump for his alleged mishandling of classified documents. The Florida judge ordered the jury trial to begin August 14, but that will very likely be pushed back. Former Air National Guardsman accused of leaking classified documents online facing arraignment today in a Massachusetts courthouse. Jack Teixeira has been in custody since April 13. A Utah school district that banned the King James Bible is now forced to reverse that decision. The Davis School District near Salt Lake City decided in late May to remove the Bible from elementary and middle school libraries, banning it because of a new state law that called for the banning of some inappropriate books. 8 people are hurt following a hit-and-run crash near Guaranteed Rate Field on Chicago's South Side. Police investigating say this type of incident is actually rare in Chicago.
It's highly unusual for how many years we've been and how many Sox games gone on that something like this occurred. So we're going to have to take a look back and see if there's anything else that Chicago police and the White Sox can do to help prevent this in the future.
A silver sedan hit 4 crossing the street last night in the 300 block of West 35th. The vehicle didn't stop but later crashed along the Dan Ryan. 4 inside were arrested. Police are looking for multiple suspects after an Uber driver was violently robbed in suburban New Lenox. The victim was treated at the hospital for a head injury. A plane crash at DuPage Airport in West Chicago remains under investigation. The incident happened after the aircraft's landing gear failed. 3 passengers on that single-engine plane were not hurt. Well, the White Sox will take it. A controversial replay review and overturn helped the Southsiders to a 7-6 win over the Rangers at Guaranteed Rate Field. Cubs shut out the Pirates again at PNC Park 4-0. The news service of MyPillow, big news. Brand new MyPillow 2.0. Now, buy one, get one free with promo code LIBERTY. It's machine washable, a 60-day money-back guarantee. Visit MyPillow.com, promo code LIBERTY. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Charlie Kirk goes on the attack.
I'm exhausted talking about the Biden thing. It doesn't interest me, but I have to get over that. With Jim Jordan and Speaker McCarthy, we have to now say, okay, you're going to run this crook for the White House in 2024. Equal and opposite reaction, folks. This guy is the El Chapo of political corruption. He is the kingpin.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
My name is Demi, and I did my first home purchase with Townstone Financial. The biggest difference between Townstone and the bigger banks that we went to was that at Townstone, Barry was really straightforward. He ran the numbers, and he made it happen. With the bigger banks, I feel like they kept giving me a runaround. We didn't have a lot of money in our checking and savings. Townstone Financial was the only bank that we reached out to that was able to find us a program that worked for us.
Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110, or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
This is Sean Thompson, and I'm proud to tell you about the great work of the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, a new partner of ours here at AM 560. Born on America's darkest day of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been helping America's heroes ever since. When a first responder or military service member doesn't come home and young children are left behind, Tunnel to Towers pays the mortgage on the family home to lift the financial burden and bring stability. For catastrophically injured veterans and first responders, Tunnel to Towers builds mortgage-free smart homes, giving our most severely injured heroes the ability to live more independent lives. You can help America's heroes and their families by supporting the Tunnel to Towers Foundation when you make a small donation of just $11 a month. Go to T2T.org, that's T, the number 2, T2T.org. T2T.org.
Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage, available at Navage.com.
5:37. Let's get an update on the roads now. We do that, of course, in our Team Hochberg Traffic Center. And right now, the Kennedy is rapidly getting very busy, slower too. 29 minutes O'Hare into the Burn Circle interchange this early morning. Stevenson, due to an earlier accident, we have inbound delays central to Kedzie and 40 minutes from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. The Reagan right now slowing up eastbound between the Tri-State and the Ike Merge. And Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Sunny and 85 today. Clear to partly cloudy and 64 overnight. 62 right now. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy talking about the Hunter Biden plea deal. And obviously it's my hope, as I assume it's yours, Amy, and put this out to the listeners as well, that this plea deal doesn't derail Hunter Biden's careers in the fields of energy, private equity, or blow art, because I'm certain he has much more to contribute, and I know that he has many, many more contributions to receive.
I mean, he was making $60K a month from Burisma while he was addicted to crack and had no experience in the energy field. And he didn't think he was going to get caught. I mean, the Bidens are so tough on gun crimes and tax cheats that, that's where the hypocrisy lies. Like, he thought he could get away with it.
Well, of course, the bigger issue than the hypocrisy, although that's an issue, in the two systems of justice, what goes to the real central indictment of the two systems of justice is the scope of the investigation. This is what Jonathan Turley pointed out on Fox. So is that all there is the question?
Did the Justice Department seriously investigate the influence peddling scandal? Because even though influence peddling is the favorite form of corruption in Washington, it spins off crimes because you have to conceal it because it is corruption. And it's not clear the Department of Justice vigorously looked into that.
Well, right. And actually, according to his attorney, that's Hunter's attorney, Chris Clark, who was on MSNBC, no, it didn't include any investigation into the influence peddling, potentially money laundering schemes that were afoot.
Yeah, they never even had to turn over the laptop.
Well, the FBI has the laptop.
Okay.
The issue is, did the U.S. Attorney's Office ask any questions about the contents? Did they move into that realm? Has that been part of the investigation? Here's what Chris Clark, Hunter Biden's attorney, said about that.
Do you have any idea if Hunter Biden's laptop had anything to do with this investigation? Was it used?
I don't. No, I don't. I mean,
were you ever asked about it?
Wow.
I can't recall being asked about it, to be honest with you. But there's nothing about the situation that's been filed that has a thing to do with the laptop.
Why not?
I don't know. You'd have to ask the prosecutors.
The Republicans will say the laptop has tons of proof that there was that Hunter Biden participated in corruption, that there's financial proof that President Biden and Hunter Biden were connected in the gains that were made overseas by Hunter Biden. Have you ever seen any proof of that?
No, I know. I mean, again, I've seen people wave various random emails around. I've never seen it. obviously, whatever that stuff has been available to everyone in the United States for many years. Sadly, I mean, I don't know how you'd feel about if everyone was disseminating the contents of your stolen phone. I wouldn't be happy about it. But everybody's had it. Maybe you would. I don't know. That would be your choice.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen anybody make an actual persuasive case that something was done. And, you know, you asked whether or not the subject of the laptop was part of the investigation. It's been out there. And, you know, we don't have any proof of it, that there was any kind of violation.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, it wasn't stolen, Katie Turer.
No.
Jailhouse lawyer. I might sue. Well, go ahead, girlfriend. The laptop was abandoned at a repair shop he brought it to.
He never picked it back up.
I don't know how you characterize that as theft, number one. But the important point of what Chris Clark said is that, no, I was never even asked about it. Now, the U.S. Attorney for Delaware, Weiss, said the investigation is ongoing.
Which means that they can withhold information from people.
Well, that's part of it. I can't comment on that because we have an ongoing investigation. The other part of it is Chris Clark's impression is that all the Hunter Biden business is wrapped up. So which is it? U.S. Attorney's Office needs to offer some clarity. The Department of Justice needs to offer some clarity on that issue. That would be helpful.
So the FBI, I know the FBI had the laptop. I misspoke. But the U.S. Attorney's Office, Weiss, did they open the laptop? Did they look? Because they would have found money laundering, probably pornography, foreign lobbying crimes, bribes, racketeering.
Well, the issue here is, so what is the scope of the investigation? And Weiss needs to provide clarity on that. In addition, there needs to be questions asked as they're being asked, the statements offered from Jim Comer at the House Oversight Committee and House Republicans about cooperation from the Department of Justice into their inquiry. Remember, it was House Republicans who were ahead of the learning curve on the Russian collusion hoax. It was, and who got the ultimate, the ultimate resolution correct, and Mueller did not. So, you know, don't dismiss the House Oversight Committee and House Republicans as an investigative team to get to the bottom of this. And the pressure now should be redoubled on the Department of Justice to cooperate with House Oversight rather than this pulling of teeth that is going on at present, as we've witnessed over the last couple of weeks with the back and forth between Wray and Jim Comer, the threat of a contempt hearing, the performance of that deputy director before the Senate Judiciary Committee last week, and so forth. Now it should be the screws really should be turned on FBI and DOJ to cooperate with House Republicans who are doing real due diligence when the Department of Justice has had 5 years to investigate Hunter Biden, to go where the facts lead beyond the tax and gun charges, beyond even a Foreign Agent Registration Act violation, which is another issue that seemingly they whistled by and there's no real explanation how Paul Manafort and Elliot Brody get charged with Foreign Agent Registration Act violations. Hunter Biden does whatever they were doing to next level, and there's not even a whiff of it here. And then, of course, the bigger, larger play, this is Biden Inc. And the whole plea deal is a way to cut Hunter off from a relationship with Joe Biden so the press can continue to do what they've been doing for the last 2 years, which is to pretend that Hunter Biden and Joe Biden barely even know each other, much less are they in business together. That's what's really going on here, right? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Larry and Bartlett, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. Thank you for taking my call. Dan, when the prosecution and the defendant reach an agreement, does the judge have to accept it, or can the judge say, oh, hell no, that's ridiculous, go back for more, or have a trial?
He doesn't have to accept it, but they will accept it in this case because...
Oh, well, yeah, I'm not quite that naive.
Yeah. I mean, and I mean, from the judge's perspective, too, if say, really, like the facts as presented and this agreement, the judge may ask questions about it. But if you had a U.S. attorney, lawyers from his office say, look, Your Honor, even if you have questions about this is just was specific to this one aspect of the work that we've done, and a larger investigation is still ongoing, and so on and so forth. Then, what's the judge to do? I mean, you're going to defer to the discretion of the two parties that have come to this arrangement.
Yeah. Or lose his job, one or the other.
Yeah, right.
And are we ever going to know the source of the money that he didn't pay taxes on?
Well, I mean, that we know some of the sources of the money, and we don't know other sources.
Right.
I mean, this is part of the question of money laundering. Who bought the blow art? Who bought the blow art?
I think you did.
I did not. John in Portage Park.
You're going to hand it out tomorrow at the call.
Good morning. I'm thinking that this just proves the existence of white privilege. And I say facetiously,
Right.
I'm just kidding around.
Thanks for the call, John. Right.
And he tied up a lot of loose ends, as you said yesterday. The child support case that he had, the reduction of child support, he wanted to go from $20,000. They apparently agreed $5,000 a month instead of $20,000 a month. And but it would be priceless to get to know your dad or your grandparents. You have this 4-year-old girl who will never know that. And that's another, it goes in the hypocrisy column, because the Bidens, they say they're so into family and family's so important to them. You have a grandchild in Arkansas that does not know her father, and every girl needs a father. Every boy needs a father too. And every person, can you imagine how loving they would be to that child? And they just completely act like she does not exist.
Can I imagine how loving Hunter Biden would be to that child?
The Jill Biden. Like they seem to get along very well with their grandchildren, and they're completely ignoring this grandchild.
Yeah, Joe Biden seems to get along a little too well with children, from what I've seen. Yeah.
It's the hypocrisy.
Well, it's hypocrisy, but
the child's an inconvenience, so let's just ignore it.
Well, I understand, but they're hillbillies. So
the attorney yesterday said, she's a great mom, and little Navy is going to be just fine. The maternal side of her family they're very, very close, and it's just disappointing that there's not more contact with the Biden family.
This is a crime family of hillbillies. I've been saying this for years. There's no sophistication here. There's the facade of sophistication. Dr. Jill Biden, yeah, right. And Joe Biden's imaginary academic career and intellectual heft. Yeah, and the successful real estate developer brother, right, leveraging the Biden name in Central America to do, and in the green zone in the Middle East to make money. And Hunter Biden, number one son, Hunter, running the front and bringing in his, criminal buddies. All these people whose names may bubble back up to the surface. We talked about when it was just Peter Schweitzer writing a book about it, or they're dedicating at least part of his book to the Biden family influence peddling operation, the public corruption that was attendant to Joe Biden's political career. Again, we have to give credit here to the D.C. press corps, because they've been doing their job for the last several years. You remember the 2019 ABC interview of Hunter?
Oh, yeah.
When starting to do the rehabilitation. Hunter Biden interviewed in his art studio by ABC News. Hard-hitting stuff.
I remember it.
This is new.
Yeah.
Your studio.
Yeah.
But now he's opening the doors to a place never captured by a paparazzi's lens. His refuge, an art studio where he finds solace in painting. What's the goal eventually?
No goal. That's the perfect part about it. It literally keeps me sane.
His refuge, far from the paparazzi's lens.
Hunter.
In other words, we're not the paparazzi, we're ABC News. What's the goal of this? Your refuge. There's no goal, he says, grinning with those fake teeth. It just keeps me sane. But actually, there was a goal. And if you didn't know what a virtuous person Hunter Biden was, you might think it looked a lot like money laundering. 2 years after that interview, Hunter Biden was selling prints of his art. And to be clear, just the prints, not the, quote, art itself, but effectively photocopies of it for $75,000 a pop. Apparently, Hunter Biden moved 5 of these repros in just days. That's $375,000 in less than a week for signing copies of your fake art. As for the paintings themselves, childish self-indulgent blots, those sold for $500,000 apiece. So the question is, who bought them and why? It'd be interesting to know. There's a story there for sure, but of course we have no right to know. There's no public policy implication. It's not like Hunter Biden's finances have anything to do with his father's finances.
Right. Just like we have no right to know what Hunter Biden does for a living. We have no right to know what the other Biden family members who are on the income distribution roster. We have no right to know what exactly they are doing for their money or they do for a living either.
Like, why was the former sister-in-law girlfriend getting $34,000 for what? What did she do?
And the big guy, part of the setup for yesterday, and what he continues to say is what he said on MSNBC just a little while back.
Sir, there is something personal that's affecting you. Your son, while there's no ties to you, could be charged by your Department of Justice. How will that impact your presidency?
First of all, my son's done nothing wrong. I trust him. I have faith in him. And it impacts my presidency by making me feel proud of him.
Wait, what?
Right. He's proud of him. He's done nothing wrong. And they'll massage that piece of it. But the key is the D.C. press corps, the Dem Socialist Comm Shop, the setup there, right? On a personal thing, because this has nothing to do with the public's right to know. This has nothing to do with public policy. This is just personal. I just have to ask you, I hate to get into your personal life with your family, but your son Hunter's potential issues. Could that impact your... I know you have nothing to do with them.
Nothing at all. Right?
But could that impact your presidency? And then he's just a proud father. And anybody who would be critical of Joe Biden is picking on a man who is just trying to help his son fight his demons. And isn't that wrong? That's the play. Blaine, Northside, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, how you doing, Dan?
Good.
How you doing, Amy?
Good.
Just curious, could you paint a picture on how you'd see this going if the shoe was on the other foot and say either Don Jr. or Eric was underneath the same type of investigation?
I couldn't, but Hunter could because he's a blow artist. Thanks for the call, Blaine. But yeah, of course, if this was Eric Trump or Don Jr.
Oh, please.
It would be just what you saw with Don Sr.
Right. And it would not have taken 5 years. Please.
And it wouldn't be asking and talking to attorneys. It would be perp walks.
Yep.
It would be the full press corps. It would be circus-like. It would be show of force from the Department of Justice. It would be exactly what we've seen when it comes and the compare contrast when it comes to Trump versus Biden, the entire family.
Well, I even asked you yesterday. I said, "Where's the mugshot?
Right?
Guess what? I'm not going to hold my breath.
There's no need for that ugliness. There's plenty of ugliness on the laptop that we've all seen.
Ugh, so gross.
Mike in Littleton, Colorado.
Ugh.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you for taking my call. It just dawns on me that, and this is the electorate's fault. This is, they would rather be lied to by somebody they think they would like than told the truth by somebody they've been convinced to hate. And the scarier part of this, broadening it out is, to the degree that people like me have become disillusioned by the impotence of our side to even take a stand for anything and push these guys. As we become disillusioned, to that same degree, they become emboldened. And that train is really tough to stop once it really gets up ahead of steam. So it's not a good situation. But I love your show, and thank you both.
Thanks for the call, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
It's a good comment about the people who've been conditioned to accept beautiful lies, to accept unreality because your focus is to be singular in hating the person we told you to hate and dismissing anything that comes from that person or anybody affiliated with that person or anybody who supports that person. That's exactly where we are. Frank in Arlington Heights.
Hey, good morning, Dan. This is President George W. Bush calling here from Crawford, Texas. You know, I do paintings too down here.
Oh, that's right.
So let's not make fun of Hunter too much. I mean, I'm sure he knows the difference between a giclée and a serigraph. I didn't for a long time, but I'm sure Hunter does. He looks like he's got a studio all set up there really good. So I may call him and see if I can do a partnership with him there. Get our paintings out there.
Yeah, you should cut in on the action. You charge what he's charging. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah. No, what I love is the fact that the press corps expects us, the average citizen, after all of the manifold foreign policy failures of this country and our foreign policy establishment since World War I, essentially, that we're supposed to sit here and really get all in a tizzy over the all of the exigencies of national security documentation, norms, and rules, and so forth. And yeah, we're just supposed to let this whole thing blow over. And it's really disgusting, comparing the Trump prosecution versus what's happening here. It's amazing. It's breathtaking, really.
Yep, I agree.
Thanks for the call, Frank.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. Cable news. Noisy, out of touch, on repeat. Tired of all the lookalikes? So are we. Salem News Channel is here to change the game. Streaming 24/7, free on your TV with the greatest collection of conservative voices. Home to Dinesh D'Souza, Andrew Wilkow, Brandon Tatum, and more. Like you, we say what's wrong and what's right. Unfiltered and unapologetic. Salem News Channel. We're the answer to the mainstream media. Learn more at snc.tv.
Dad, I picked up your pills, made your lunch, and your laundry is done.
When you care for a loved one, you take care of everything. But are you taking care of yourself? Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
News, opinion, insight. This is AM 560, The Answer. WIND Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com. On the AM 560 mobile app. Tune in, iHeart, and on Odyssey.
A sign of hope in the search for a missing sub. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The Coast Guard says a Canadian surveillance plane detected underwater noises in the search area where a submersible was taking tourists to the Titanic.
They report remotely operated vehicles operations featuring underwater robots were relocated in an effort to find the source of those noises. So far, no luck. And they didn't say what those noises may be, but the search is continuing. 5 people were on board Sunday, headed down to the wreck of the Titanic. The submersible may be as deep as 12,500 feet. They're believed to have enough oxygen on board to last through Thursday. Jill Nato, Fox News.
President Biden with 6 words about his son Hunter's federal criminal charges.
I'm very proud of my son.
Some Republicans say Hunter Biden got off too easy, pleading guilty to misdemeanor tax charges, avoiding prison on a gun charge. It was a 5-year investigation.
For what turns out to be a pretty straightforward tax case and a gun possession case, the amount of time this took was just ridiculous.
Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, Republican presidential candidate and former U.S. attorney, on the Fox News Rundown podcast. President Biden flies back to D.C. today after 3 days in California for campaign fundraisers and speeches about climate change and artificial intelligence. He says we'll need safeguards, but there's a potential for good.
AI is going to change the way we teach, learn, and help solve challenges like disease and climate change, and giving you the time to focus on the things that matter most to you personally.
The president, after meeting with AI experts in San Francisco, the Davis, Utah School District reverses a ban on Bibles in school libraries put in place because of sexual content. The ban put in place last month was for middle and elementary schools. Dozens of people appealed. The district now says the Bible is age appropriate for all of its libraries. A Utah law passed last year allows parents to challenge sensitive materials available to kids in public schools. America's listening to Fox News.
63 degrees. Skies are clear at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A mob at a Southside gas station drew hundreds of young people and a large police presence overnight. Video from the scene shows people jumping on cars at a BP gas station near 31st and Michigan Avenue. An 18-year-old woman was injured. 8 are hurt following a hit-and-run crash near Guaranteed Rate Field on Chicago's South Side. Investigators with Chicago police say this type of incident before a game is actually quite rare.
It's highly unusual for how many years we've been and how many Sox games gone on that something like this occurred. So we're going to have to take a look back and see if there's anything else that Chicago police and the White Sox can do to help prevent this in the future.
The silver sedan hit 4 crossing the street last night in the 300 block of West 35th. 4 in that vehicle were later arrested after they crashed their vehicle along the Dan Ryan near 46th Street. City of Naperville remembering a University of Illinois grad who died after she was savagely attacked while hiking in Germany last week. A moment of silence was held at yesterday's city council meeting honoring Naperville native Ava Liu. Police are looking for multiple suspects after an Uber driver was violently robbed in New Lenox. The armed attackers removed the driver from the vehicle and struck him in the head. His wallet and cell phone were stolen, but somehow the suspects failed to steal that vehicle. White Sox will take it. A replay review and overturn helped the Southsiders to a 7-6 win over the Rangers at Guaranteed Rate. While the Cubs beat the Pirates again at PNC Park, Marcus Stroman gave up just 5 hits in a 4-0 win. The news, a service of the AM 560 mobile app, and a check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Make sure that you never miss a day of Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson when you subscribe to the Chicago's Morning Answer podcast, presented by Signature Bank. Listen to the entire show each day on demand with limited commercial breaks. You can subscribe today for free at 560theanswer.com and click on podcasts or search for Chicago's Morning Answer on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
The Daily Herald 2022 Best of the Fox winner for Best Financial Planner is Total Clarity Wealth Management. The 2022 Reader's Choice Award winner for Best Wealth Management Firm and Best Financial Planner is Total Clarity Wealth Management. Are you ready for a change? Choose Total Clarity Wealth Management. With a professional team of financial advisors and CPAs, they can show you the way to financial readiness and keep you on track. Their philosophy is built on solid relationships and trust, with access to expertise in tax planning strategies, 401k rollover services, estate planning, and more. They can help you be ready for anything.
Hi, this is Terry Murphy. The cornerstone of our practice has been to help clients stay focused on their goals throughout life's changes.
Get in touch with them at TotalClarityWealth.com. That's TotalClarityWealth.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Total Clarity Wealth Management, Inc., a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial. Awards are based on number of reader votes. This award is not representative of the views of clients and is not indicative of future performance or services.
Don't let earache from swimmer's ear, clogged ears, or allergies ruin your day. Get fast, effective relief from the pain and itching with Hyland's Earache Drops, the #1 best-selling earache treatment for over 10 years. See why it's received thousands of 5-star reviews and was awarded Best Over-the-Counter Medicine and Health Product in Earache Relief by U.S. News and World Report. Find Hyland's Earache Drops in the eye and ear aisle at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Claims based on traditional homeopathic practice, not accepted medical evidence, not FDA evaluated.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Don't defund the police. Hire the police to protect your business. Rising crime has been crippling business owners in Illinois more and more in the past year. Blue Star Security can protect your most valuable asset, your business, to protect both you and your customers. Blue Star Security is the only security company in Chicago with over 500 off-duty police officers, all W-2 employees.
I'm Anthony Varchetto, president of Blue Star Security and a 20-year law enforcement veteran. Our team is exclusively state-certified active and retired law enforcement professionals who provide the highest standards in security. We serve Fortune 500 companies as well as small businesses and individuals, responding rapidly and seamlessly to each assignment. Blue Star Security's technology allows mobilization of off-duty officers quickly and efficiently. Our primary mission is to provide unparalleled protective services for each assignment with integrity while maintaining our commitment to community service in the Chicagoland area.
Visit online to schedule a free security consultation at bluestarsecurityltd.com. That's bluestarsecurityltd.com.
6:07. Time to visit signaturebank.bank and time to check the roads in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. Inbound Edens, already 23 minutes. Lake Cook Road to the junction. Kennedy inbound, 40 minutes from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. The Eichen jammed up Tri-State to Manheim, 38 minutes into the old post office. Tri-State is jammed up northbound between the Reagan merge, I-88, all the way up to the Eisenhower merge. Darien, an accident, Lamont Road at I-55, and an accident this morning, Piatone, Governor's Highway and Piatone Road. Traffic is also a service of Cabino Environmental. Home and business owners use the Cabino Oil Stain Remover because it is the most powerful oil stain lifting formula on the market. Cabino Oil Stain Remover, available at all 8 RentalMax locations. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Warm day, lots of sun, high 85. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 64. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a high 84. And then tomorrow night, clouds, low 62. Sun, patchy clouds, a warm day on Friday, a high 86. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
62 at O'Hare. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy updating the situation from over the weekend in Willowbrook where that mass shooting occurred in that strip mall.
The Juneteenth celebration.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
The peaceful
mostly
gathering. Mostly peaceful, but until it turned violent.
Until 23 people were shot, then it was slightly less peaceful.
And there's 70-ish shell casings.
So this is over at the right outside the Hinsdale Lake Terrace apartment complex, this strip mall, and confirmed what we understood to be true, that there was no permit obtained for that gathering. It was on private property, therefore it was an illegal gathering, and we don't have any update from the sheriff's office, DuPage County Sheriff's Office, on the investigation. Nor do we have any explanation as to why sheriff's police were on the ball enough to have a presence there, but before they were called away on a 911 call, which is what they say occurred, before that happened, as the gathering was growing, why they didn't step in and say, you are on private property, you have no right to be here, you need to disperse. We don't have an answer to that question because the DuPage County Sheriff's Office and DuPage County Sheriff Jim Mendrick isn't talking.
And we don't know how long they were going to let this party go. I mean, it was 1:45, 12:43 a.m. Were they going to let it go all night? I mean, when were they going to step in? And according to my source, they said the 911 call that they were responding to was in that apartment complex. So they went back to the scene because they heard the shots being fired. So then they ran back. But
So
why
the
did they
911
let it? Why did they let them stay there in the first place?
The 911 call was from the apartment complex that's right next to the strip mall. So they
Yes.
were on site,
So they
more
were
or
on
less
site,
on
yes.
site the entire time.
Yep.
Also, this was interesting. DuPage County's Judicial Public Safety Committee is now doing a deeper dive into what happened and what the county might learn. A plan to add a community policing headquarters to the apartment complex across the street from the mass shooting scene was proposed years ago, but there had been, I guess, a waiting game waiting for plans to be developed and submitted to the county. Well, that's interesting. So that speaks to the other issue, which is what we know and what we brought to you yesterday, just by doing a bit of a cursory dig on incidents of violence in and around that apartment complex, that this has been a sore spot, an area where there has been violence for many years, and it's sort of coming into focus that a lot of people knew this to be the case. And so another question to the DuPage County Sheriff's Office would be, why wouldn't you have presence when you apparently have an idea that a mass gathering is happening, and you know this is an area that has been the site of violent interactions before, and then in addition to repeat, why wouldn't you intercede to break it up before anything occurred?
I mean, there were hundreds of people there. And again, in case you missed the show yesterday, they were shooting a rap video. There was some rap artist who decided to show up, and I don't know if that's why more people came, but he shot a video. And they're trying to get that from him. They're asking the public's help. Hey, any videos you have, or, a cell phone video, please turn it in. Because they don't know what the motive is. They don't know who the shooters are.
And we brought this to you at the end of the show yesterday, and we'll revisit it now. I attempted to get DuPage County Sheriff Jim Mendrick on the program to ask him some of these questions, and he didn't respond at first, and then he responded during the show yesterday. I texted him Monday morning, and
this is crazy.
It was rather bizarre. I tweeted out yesterday afternoon, if you want to see most of the text exchange. He continued to text me after what I posted on Twitter, so there's a little bit more, but the gist of it really doesn't change very much. And I asked him, again, this is verbatim, Jim, Dan Proft here, can you come on our show this morning to update us on the Willowbrook shooting? That was Monday morning. Then yesterday morning, he finally got around to responding to me, and he said, quote, "You obviously have no comprehension of what an active investigation is. Your priorities are sad, and I'm sorry a little airtime is more important to you than catching the offenders. Go ahead and add that to your broadcasting," which I subsequently obliged and added to our broadcast and my Twitter feed. And so then it sort of devolved from there with him calling me a cop hater.
What?
And I just said, "Oh, that's hilarious. Go try and sell that. You've lost your mind." That's literally what I wrote in response. He then said, "It's people like you that make it impossible to hire new people. They see how you treat law enforcement." And I said to him,
"What?
Jim, just to recount here, I said, I made a neutral ask for you to come on the show, and you responded with smarm and accusation. Spare me your pathetic histrionics. They're unpersuasive." So, I guess it's, pressure does strange things to people, and some crack under it, and maybe Jim Mendrick is cracking under said pressure because he doesn't want to answer very straightforward questions like we've just posed here rhetorically.
You hide from the media when you know you've done something wrong. That's what I could tell you. And that seems what they won't even tell us the ages of the people who were shot.
Right. Names.
I mean, that's not getting
ages.
into the investigation. We're just asking, some minors there that you could have at least gotten them on a curfew violation. I mean, something. It's like crickets. I don't get it.
It seems to me that even if you are not a tool in your civilian life, it seems to me in Illinois there's something strange that happens. I'm sure there are exceptions. Actually, I can think of exceptions. But for most people, Republican or Democrat, once you become an elected official in the state, you become a complete tool. You become another imperious, ruling class-oriented D-bag.
I mean, Sheriff.
Like Jim Mendrick.
Well, Jim Mendrick came on the show when he was running for DuPage County Sheriff.
As I said,
he loved us then. But yeah, I know that's
it's not even personal. It's relevant to the discussion of public safety in DuPage County, but it's just so bizarre. And again, there was I never had a crossword with Jim Mendrick until the text exchange. So that's just why it's so sort of out of left field and perplexing. But regardless of that, he still has questions to answer that have nothing to do with solving the crime. By the way, he also said, I was out, we were out, and implying he was part of it, out working the case on Sunday while you were barbecuing. Well, first of all, I'm not a DuPage County sheriff. What was it? Do you want me to investigate? You want me to invite some of my friends to go out to Willowbrook and start picking up bullet casings and do our own independent investigation? What exactly do you want me to do, Jim?
Find that video, Dan.
You're the sheriff. You have the deputy sheriffs. You have the police force. That's your job. That's number one. Number two, funny because you posted on Facebook, on your Facebook page, you receiving some, perfunctory community award from some coalition group on Sunday evening. So it was nice that you were able to take a time out from doggedly pursuing every lead that was available to suit up and go get some awards so that you could get some selfies that you could post on your Facebook page on Sunday, the day of the shooting. Sheriff Jim. You want to keep going? I mean, this is part of
So he doubled down after the show. He kept texting you.
Well, I just read you.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty clear. So people like me make it hard to recruit talent to law enforcement. Right. So I said, go ahead. If that's the way you want to try to sell that, cop hater. This is what, the Chicago's Morning Answer is why people won't go into law enforcement. Okay, sure. If that's your cover story, run with it, dude. Try and sell it. DuPage County. You want to understand DuPage County residents, why that county has become a facsimile of Cook County? It's because of Republicans. Republicans like Jim Mendrick, who take the attitude that he takes, and so many more, who all they want to do is have their own little fiefdom to operate DuPage County the same way the Democrats have taken advantage of operating Cook County. And it's been that way for a long time, just like we've had this spot in Willowbrook that's been a public safety problem for a long time, and everybody turns a blind eye. It's what we were talking about with Hunter last hour. Just tell me the beautiful lies. Tell me how bad Madigan is, and you're going to take on the Cook County Democrats and blah, blah, blah. We don't do things that way in DuPage County. Really? Really?
I mean, he works for us. Well, I'm not a DuPage County resident, but if I lived in DuPage, I'd be very offended by what he said. There's got to be something wrong. That's not normal behavior. I mean, you and I have both worked with a number of police departments, PR firms. People don't talk to people like that.
I just...
And making accusations that are so far off.
It's the attitude.
Yep.
It's the attitude. Yeah. I don't care if it's me or I wouldn't expect him to treat anybody like that. Just if my dad's a DuPage County resident, if he called the sheriff's office and wanted more information about what happened in Willowbrook, is he going to get the go have sex with yourself response that I got from Jim Mendrick? That's what you expect from your county sheriff, any elected official, any public official. The hell with that attitude. I don't care if you wear a badge.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line.
Mike in Downers Grove.
Hi, I've got a theory about this. In Chicago, the police superintendent isn't allowed to speak candidly that you have a gang war, obviously, and a turf battle, and we don't have enough people, and we're supposed to shut up and pretend it doesn't exist. I think Jim Mendrick has been instructed by the DuPage County board and maybe the chairman to be quiet about this. The scene of this, and I'm very familiar with it, I live 7 miles away, is 8 miles straight south of Oak Brook Mall. It's 4 miles straight north of Cog Hill. You got some really nice housing, and Burr Ridge, really close to here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's like 400 or 500 DuPage County Sheriff personnel uniforms. So you figure maybe you have 50 or 100 on duty that night. Now, how the hell are you going to break up 200 people, with 2 coppers? You're not, okay? And then especially if it might be perceived as an ethnic thing. But quite frankly, just looking at it as a normal human being, the only people that shoot each other en masse are gangs fighting for turf. This isn't like somebody stole somebody's spouse or lover or whatever. This is serious gang business.
So they obviously had an inkling that this was occurring because they were there. So then what should have been done?
Well, obviously they're not going to do the same thing again, you would think. But I mean, again, you can't break up 200 people with 2 or 3 or 10 cops.
Well,
right?
first of all, you can break up 200 people before they become 200 people, which is what should have happened because they were trespassing. Number one. Number two is you bring the requisite force, and the DuPage County Sheriff's Office doesn't have to go it alone. Willowbrook the village of Willowbrook has a police department. You have surrounding police departments. You don't think you can lean on your brothers and sisters in uniform if you need them?
I think that's what it should have been done, and I think that's probably what will happen in the future. I think they're caught with their pants down because, we're DuPage County. This is like 7 miles from Hinsdale. It can't happen here.
Oh, of course not. Yeah, thanks for the call, Mike. Of course it can't until it does.
The pretty people.
And by the way, Jim Mendrick is an elected official. So I don't care if Deb Conroy and the Democrats on the DuPage County Board tell him to shut up. If I'm an elected official, I'm at law enforcement on top of it, and that some other politicians tell me to shut up and not talk about it, I'm going to go talk about them telling me to shut up and not talk about it because I have a responsibility to the people who elected me, protect and serve, not to Deb Conroy and Democrats on the DuPage County Board, if that's even true. So, I mean, that's a cover story that doesn't wash for me either. Sorry. Jose in Dallas, Texas.
Dan, so I retired from police work, 25 years, done with it because of administrators like that. They stand idly by on the sidelines and then take away the discretion of the on-scene police officer. This is all speculation, but I guarantee you that 911 call had to do with the group, and they didn't know what to do. So they're the cause of officers wanting to retire. Seriously.
Thanks,
man.
Thanks for the call, Jose. Appreciate it.
Text message. Look at how many Juneteenth shootings there were, not only in the Chicago area, but across America.
I understand. Yeah.
We had that horrible one in Milwaukee. 7 people shot.
Marco, Romeoville.
Morning, guys. Yeah, we got an update for you guys. I don't know if you guys know or not, but the family of the victim that died at the shooting, they got a lawsuit on the guy, the owner of that parking lot.
Oh, yeah, we know.
Oh,
We
yeah.
played the attorney yesterday.
Thanks for the
Wrongful
call,
death
Marco.
lawsuit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not going to stand.
Darren Meadows, the brother of the man who was shot and killed, he was loved by a lot of people. Everything about that man was pure, Darren Meadows said of his brother. And I understand, a brother standing up for a brother. And Darren Meadows went on to say, it's getting way too much for young people to go out here and cause chaos. It's unfortunate. It's unfair to my brother's kids. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, CBS, the story I'm reading from is from CBS News, and they should be ashamed of themselves. But that's the typical sort of reporting you get, the beautiful lie.
Did they mention his past arrests?
What do you think?
I'm going to say no.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. Getting way too much out here. He's talking about this brother's talking about senseless gun violence and too much for young people go out here. It cause chaos. It's unfair to my brother's kids. His brother has a rap sheet as long as my arm, the man who was shot and killed in Willowbrook.
And he's not a kid. He's a 31-year-old man.
And the charges on his rap sheet include, in convictions, robbery, burglary, home invasion, unlawful possession of a gun, drug dealing charges.
DUI arrests.
Got a $50,000 GoFundMe page set up. He's about $10,000 in bank right now. So, yeah. Nobody wants to see anybody shot or killed, obviously, but that doesn't give you license to recast somebody into something they weren't, or a situation into something that it wasn't. And that's what the Chicago Press Corps is doing about what happened in Willowbrook and to whom it happened. Tom in Blue Island.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, Dan, obviously the trademark of a leftist is projection. And for this guy to project that you're the reason we can't get cops. So we have all these administrators, legislators down at Springfield, and they're trying to grease a path for illegal aliens to become police officers, to police American citizens. All you asked is, and what Mike said earlier, you just asked for some information on the particulars. All he had to say, there's 100 different ways he could have handled that, as opposed to attacking you personally. He attacked you personally because of your politics, and of course, it's the conservatives.
I think he attacked him because he messed up.
Mendrick presents himself as a conservative. Thanks for the call, Tom. So I don't think it's, at least from how he's run for office, I don't think it's because he just has antagonism towards conservatives, or at least he didn't used to. Maybe he's had a change of heart. I don't know.
The sheriff made a mistake. He let that party go on for too long. There's no rules in place. I mean, I don't. Again, were they going to let it go on until 4 or 5 in the morning? Why not stop it? Disperse.
George in Naperville.
Man, what are the rules for this new holiday? If the cops did react or they showed a presence, it would become national news if there's an incident and, they're racists. I mean, everybody's, scared to do anything.
I understand, but that's not an excuse. I mean, and then why don't we disband the police departments? Or why don't we just say, well, we're not going to have any law enforcement presence anywhere where there are minorities because they don't want us here. So anything goes if it's a gathering of mostly minorities for whatever reason. Is that what you want to do? I mean, I understand the perception problem. We're not in law enforcement shouldn't be in the perception business. They should be in the law enforcement business. And I understand you can't, be Pollyannish about this. So you're sensible about it. And you know how you get into the perception business? By just very straightforwardly addressing whatever questions or concerns or criticisms people have. Here's what we're going to do, or here's what we did. Here's why we did it. Here's the law. Here was the order. Here's why I gave it. Here's what our cops did. Here's why what they did was right. You stand and you deliver.
Or
because you're an elected official or an appointed one, and you owe responsibility to the public.
Or if you made a mistake, just change your policy. This is what we're going to be doing in the future. They should set up a DuPage County satellite office in that strip mall or across the street from there. It's like they did downtown in Cook County Sheriff's.
All right, coming up at 6:36, we'll return to other matters of law enforcement at the federal level, like Biden Inc., as well as the idea that the Trump federal trial is going to happen before November of 2024. I mean, no chance. But anyway, we'll see if Professor William Jacobson from Cornell Law agrees with me at 6:36.
But now let's head into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
63, sunrise in Chicago. The Coast Guard says there is underwater noise detected in the search for that submarine that disappeared while exploring the wreck of the Titanic.
The 5 people on board include Stockton Rush.
Leading the mission, in 2021, the firm started taking paying customers to the Titanic wreck. Hamish Harding, UK billionaire, adventurer, aviator, the chairman of Action Aviation, the company tweeted several pictures on Sunday, one showing Harding at sea just prior to descent. French mariner Paul-Henri Nargeolet, considered one of the leading experts on the Titanic, also feared to be among the five, and the vice chairman of Engro Corporation, the conglomerate in Pakistan, tweeted that the company's vice chair, Shahzada Dawood, along with his son Suleiman, were also on the expedition.
The U.S. Coast Guard says the submersible could run out of oxygen by Thursday morning. Women at a prison in Honduras had complained for weeks that gang members were infiltrating the prison. The gang fulfilled those threats on Tuesday, slaughtering 41 women, many of them burned, shot, or stabbed to death. Prison officials have no explanation how inmates identified as members of the Barrio 18 gang were able to get guns and machetes into the prison. Top Republican says the president's son got off easy on his plea deal over federal tax charges. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer called Hunter Biden's agreement a sweetheart deal.
I'm very proud of my son.
And that's all President Biden said in response to shouted questions from reporters ahead of a meeting on artificial intelligence in San Francisco. Hunter Biden is expected to receive probation. This morning, the headquarters of the Paris 2024 Olympic Organizing Committee were raided by police. French police gave notification of the raid yesterday. A committee spokesperson confirmed to CNN, and the BBC this morning understands police are searching for documentation on allegations of favoritism and misuse of public money. Scientists say an eruption at a Hawaii volcano that began nearly 2 weeks ago has come to a pause. Kilauea began erupting on June 7. An illegal mob at a Southside gas station drew hundreds of young people and a large police presence Tuesday night. Video from the scene showed some jumping on cars at a BP gas station near 31st and Michigan Avenue. One young woman was hurt. An 18-year-old is dead after drowning in Lake Michigan. The town of Porter says the young man and a 14-year-old girl in northwest Indiana were struggling in the water around 7 p.m. last night. People at Porter Beach were able to get the 14-year-old girl out, but were not able to reach the 18-year-old. Federal prosecutors also say they're seeking to have a former Republican mayor from Portage, Indiana, surrender in no more than a week to begin his 2-year prison sentence on bribery and tax convictions. The request was filed yesterday and comes in the wake of a ruling last week by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit. White Sox 7-6 winners over the Rangers at the rate, while the Cubs beat the Pirates 4-0 at PNC Park. The news, a service of MyPillow. Big news. Brand new MyPillow 2.0. Now buy one, get one free. MyPillow 2.0, machine washable, dryable. Visit MyPillow.com with that promo code Liberty. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Sean Thompson Show.
The feeble fascist and the entire upper echelon of the Democrat Party is a big, giant, pay-to-play scheme mafia. They get to lie with impunity, and they lie knowingly. And what does the lie lead to? The fact that the sitting president, although he doesn't know it and he's sitting in his own urine, the sitting president is an asset of enemies, foreign. We know. And we also know about the domestic, but we're used to unions.
The Sean Thompson Show, weekday afternoons at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I got to where I was sleeping in and I didn't like that. Within 2 or 3 days, I could tell the difference. Now I'm back to getting up early. I had more energy. I slept better at night. And in my therapy,
Health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. For a limited time this summer, get $25 off your first order as a preferred customer, plus a free fruits and veggies travel set with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Have you been struggling to find an easy, safe, and secure document scanning solution for Salesforce.com, Microsoft 365, SharePoint, or OnBase by Highland? Your struggle is now over, and it's time to get your documents and operations into the 21st century. With IoT Smart Connected Scanning, it's easy to turn physical paper into digital documents and have them directly uploaded to the cloud with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. And you don't need a degree in computing or IT to make it happen. Using QR code technology uniquely configured for your specific business, anyone can set the IoT Smart Connected Scanning device up in 5 minutes or less, saving your organization money and valuable time. Remote employees can even capture documents and send them safely and seamlessly. Organize documents efficiently and securely with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. To see a demo or to order now, go to ready4idt.com. That's ready4idt.com. Use promo code SMART and receive 10% off your order. IDT, putting paper in its place.
It is 6:38, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of Verizon. Ready to take control of your phone plan? You better make that next turn into a Verizon store. My plan from Verizon is the kind of control you deserve. Get exactly what you want, pay for only what you need. My plan, Verizon store today. Reagan Memorial, I-88, the toll road jamming up eastbound Roosevelt to the Tri-State. Tri-State toll road northbound 294 jamming up between the Reagan and the Eisenhower merge. Delays on the Dan Ryan, all due to a disabled vehicle with a right center lane block. It's in the Express, inbound between the Skyway and 43rd. That adds up to a 20-minute trip from 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. And delays on the Ike from Wolf to Des Plaines Avenue, and a heavy 53 minutes, 390 to the old post office. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Mostly sunny, 85 today, clear to partly cloudy, and 64 overnight. 63 degrees at O'Hare, and your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. America First with Sebastian Gorka, today at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Hunter Biden and Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House spokeswoman. What do the two have in common? Tucker Carlson made an interesting connection between the two in his riff yesterday about the Hunter Biden plea agreement, referencing this statement that KJP made in an interview she gave the Grio. Take a listen.
Again, this is a historic administration. I'm a historic figure, and I certainly walk in history every day, but this is also a historic making administration because of this president.
Oh my God, enough about me. What do you think of me? I'm a historic figure?
Who talks like that? I'm a historic figure. And so beyond the unequal application of the law and unequal protection under the law, something else is going on that's more of a cultural commentary that I think Tucker put his finger on, what he describes as the inversion of virtue.
What we're watching through Hunter Biden's life and through the Biden administration, now entering its third year, is the total inversion of virtue. What was once considered admirable is now derided as stupid, if not racist. That would include achievement, intelligence, honesty, self-control, humility. Those are features of the old America. Those were yesterday's virtues. They are gone. In their place, all that we once considered contemptible and repulsive, we're told to worship that now. Here's a small example, but we think a revealing one. In addition to his many other sins, Joe Biden has hired what has to be the single dumbest, nastiest, most dishonest, most ridiculous person he could possibly find for the very public position of White House press secretary. There's a point to it, of course. It was a humiliation exercise. It was designed to degrade the country and dispirit the rest of us. That's the White House press secretary? Shut up! But here's the thing. The White House press secretary herself has no idea why she's in the job. She thinks she's amazing. Karine Jean-Pierre is now a historic figure, just like Hunter Biden is now an important artist. No. It makes you feel stupid for going to work.
That was excellent riff.
It was a good riff, a good connection he makes, the inversion of virtue. For more on this, more on the legal side of it, but he can comment culturally as well. Pleased to be joined by William Jacobson, clinical professor of law, director of the Securities Law Clinic at Cornell Law School, also founder of LegalInsurrection.com and president of the Legal Insurrection Foundation and the Equal Opportunity Project, or Equal Protection Project as well that we want to talk to him about. Professor Jacobson, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on again.
The legal matters here. First of all, just the idea that a 5-year investigation by a U.S. Attorney's Office winds up with a plea agreement that involves pleading out to a couple of misdemeanor charges. You know, my understanding is that U.S. Attorney's offices don't do misdemeanor prosecutions.
Right. These were felonies that they pled down to misdemeanors so they could give him no jail time. And same on the gun charge. It'll go to lying on the gun application will go to diversion, which means in a year or two, if he doesn't commit more crimes, it'll be wiped out. So this, a lot of people are focusing on why didn't he get a harsher sentence for these charges? I think the real question is, why were these the charges?
Right.
And I think that's really why, the lying on the gun application, gun permit application, background check, could have been charged as very serious felonies. Could have been charged as perjury. Could have been charged as, conspiracy to violate the laws. Could have been charged as a lot of different things. But they chose to downplay it, that, he failed to disclose he was a drug addict. Well, that's not really the problem. The problem is, he signed forms that under penalty of perjury that he lied on, and particularly with regard to, firearms and weapons, that's something that the feds tend to take very seriously these days, particularly under the Biden administration, which wants to, criminalize anything with regard to guns. And for, the feds in that circumstance to just write it off and downgrade it to a diversion, that's, I think, what's really going on here is that the prosecutors made a decision not to throw the book at him, so to speak, and that, he's the president's son. And there appears to be an attempt to just sweep this whole thing under the rug. We're done. He's been held accountable. Let's move on. And so that's really the question. It's not why he got what he got for these charges, but why were those the only charges?
Well, I mean, yes, but 5 years. I mean, if the unpaid tax, willful failure to pay more than $200,000 in taxes. Okay, well, so it's either a civil matter or you're going to make this part of felony tax. You're going to make this a felony tax evasion case. After 5 years to settle this out, that just doesn't happen with U.S. attorneys. And the same thing with the gun application piece. I mean, those charges are normally never. They're not brought customarily because it's just the U.S. attorney's offices have bigger fish to fry than to be worried spending too much time on these relatively minor cases. And so to me, the question is, right, why did you cut this deal? As you and we have an idea that why did it take 5 years? And then why, after 5 years, at least according to Hunter Biden's attorney,
have you not opened a investigation into all of the other matters that we're hearing from the House Oversight Committee about money moving around among all the Bidens from foreign governments and representatives of foreign governments? That seems to like what Daniel Weiss or somebody at Justice needs to explain. David Weiss or somebody at Justice needs to explain.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I think the charges of Biden family corruption and influence peddling and tantamount to bribery are the big picture here. And the question is this, clearing the way for the feds to move on and say we're done, or is this the way for the feds to say, okay, we've gotten rid of these minor things, now we're going to focus on the big? I think everybody suspects it's the first thing I mentioned, that this is their way of saying we're done, we're moving on, we're going to slow track anything else, and moving into a presidential election year, or we're close to it, and we're done here. And that's really, I think, the fear that people have. It's that all of the political corruption, the Biden family political corruption, is going to be swept away by these minor plea deals on unrelated things.
But late yesterday afternoon, the DOJ said that the investigation is continuing, which means that they can withhold information, correct?
Well, that's right. So we don't know. There's all sorts of leaks when it comes to Russia collusion. Almost all of them were fake and false. Mm-hmm. There were all sorts of leaks from the feds, which had to have come from the feds. Nobody else would know the information about what ended up with the indictment of Donald Trump with regard to documents that he had at Mar-a-Lago. A steady flow of leaks from the feds to shape the public narrative, negative to Republicans and negative to Donald Trump. Hasn't been any leaks from the feds about Hunter Biden. How interesting is that? And so that, again, feeds the perception that they don't want to go there with Hunter Biden. They don't want to go there really with Joe Biden, and that's what it is. The big guy, they don't want to go to the fact that he sold his office to foreign governments and foreign influence for better part of a decade.
The Trump matter, the trial date set for August 14th, and I understand that's to comply with the Speedy Trial Act provisions. But the larger question, I mean, do you see any way that his trial in the classified documents case, the federal trial, happens before November of 2024?
I think it's very possible. I think, yes. It's not going to happen in all likelihood in August of this year. But by the election, yes. I mean, unless there's somebody there who deliberately wants to slow it down, and by all accounts now, the only person who wants to slow it down to move it into the election year is Donald Trump.
Right. Well, exactly. I mean, whether it's prosecution or defense, but I mean, as a defense attorney representing Trump, you'd want, pretrial motions and push this off past the election. I mean, wouldn't that be the obvious play?
Yeah, you would think so, but that's a long way. That's a long way, and it doesn't sound like the judge is going to go along with that. Obviously, setting a mid-August tentative trial date was not meaning the judge actually thinks it's going to go to trial in August, but it could be, there does seem to be an indication the court wants to move it along. They would have to delay it for, well over a year. That's not uncommon, but,
right.
Then you run into the problem, is the court really going to hold a trial in August before the election or in September before the election? So
right, they won't.
I think a lot will be driven by what Team Trump wants to do.
Yeah. Well, especially when they may have a lot of trial dates on their calendar in Manhattan, in Fulton County, Georgia, maybe another federal trial. Who knows, right?
Well, Manhattan, I think it's already been announced they'll wait till after the feds are done.
Yep.
So if the federal trial in Florida gets pushed off to, January 2025, maybe simultaneously with the potential inauguration of Donald Trump, re-inauguration, then Manhattan's not going to happen for a while. And same will be true with Georgia. I think everybody is going to defer to this Florida prosecution in terms of the timing of other things.
And there's no way President or former President Trump would make a plea deal or plea out?
I can't imagine. I just can't imagine that he's gonna. I mean, you've seen the same. I don't know him personally, but you've seen the same person on TV that I've seen. It's hard for me to imagine that.
Yes. I had a question about the raid on Mar-a-Lago, because part of this discussion with Hunter Biden is the disparate treatment of law enforcement, disparate treatment of Biden, and including Hunter, versus President Trump, just in terms of gathering evidence. The interactions are just different. And that's not just me saying it. It's an IRS whistleblower saying that about the Hunter Biden case, for example, but also what the public has seen. And something I don't think has been raised before, but the whole way in which the feds raided Mar-a-Lago, there's something called a forthwith subpoena, where the feds can show up and say, we're going to sit here until you produce the documents. So it doesn't require a raid. You don't have to bring in SEAL Team 6, but you present a subpoena. You say, we're leaving with the documents. And if you say, well, I got to get my golf shoes and my clothes out of the boxes, and I got to go find Joey to open the door. And so, hey, you do whatever you have to do. If it takes 6 hours, it takes 12 hours. We're staying here until we get the documents. And it seems to me that would have been a way to obtain the documents without all of the showiness that the FBI chose to use.
Well, I think there would have been many other ways, to do that other than the raid and other than the theatrics. They could have, moved to hold him in contempt for violating the subpoena, et cetera. There's no claim here. I mean, the one thing that is clear, there's no claim that there was actually a damage to national security. This is all about carelessness and maintaining of documents that pose the risk of exposure. But if there was a real risk of exposure to, Chinese or Russian spies, then the feds would have certainly had grounds to move in, to swoop in to get the documents, but they never claimed that. And there's no claim in the indictment that any of this material that Donald Trump had actually fell into enemy hands. Right. There was no exigency to the circumstances. It was more a document dispute. And it based on his interview with, Bret Baier, and based on what we think is, at least partially true that's in the indictment, he did jerk them around. I mean, there's no question about it. It's not like they said, hey, we want the documents. He said, I'll get back to you. And the next day they're there with the raid. This was many, many months, So while the feds, I don't think, have necessarily good intentions, they did get jerked around a lot. Okay, and on Bret Baier, he says, well, I was busy. Why did it take you so many months and months and months and months to get back to the Fed? Well, I was busy on other things. I mean, that's, so, in fairness to them, they were jerked around. On the other hand, they, could have done it a different way.
He is Professor William Jacobson, clinical professor of law, director of the Securities Law Clinic at Cornell Law, founder of LegalInsurrection.com, and president of the Legal Insurrection Foundation, as well as the Equal Protection Project, which, among other things, opposes racial preferences in the academy. Actually, before we let you go, what's your perspective on what do you expect the Supreme Court to do in the admissions case that's before them?
Well, I guess I'll take the common view, which is that everybody is expect them to say that, racial preferences race can no longer be a factor. That, it's time. We gave you 20 plus years. We said this was not going to be a permanent situation, and we're now 20 plus years after the 20 years after the Grutter decision, and we're not going to allow this anymore. It was essentially, we carved out an exception for higher education, but it was never meant to be permanent. It was meant to be a transition, and it's time to move on. And so I think that that's what they're going to do. They're going to say it's no longer can be used in admissions. And, how strong an opinion it is, who writes it, whether all the conservatives sign on to it, or you have a Roberts, dissent or something like that, that remains to be seen. But everyone will be shocked if they say, yep, keep on doing it, keep on, giving racial preferences. People will be shocked by that. The question is, how strong will it be? Essentially, when they said Roe v. Wade was never good law and it's not good law anymore, do they do that with affirmative action and racial preferences? or something less? That's really what nobody can know right now.
Professor Jacobson, thanks so much again. Appreciate it.
Great. Take care.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
You've heard Rumpke's Garage commercials on AM 560, and now they specialize in servicing Sprinters and light-duty diesels. But the experts at Rumpke's also service Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. So if you own an Isuzu or Chevy low-cab forward truck but aren't sure where to get it repaired, take it to Rumpke's Garage, your #1 dealer alternative for repairs to your Isuzu NPR, Isuzu F-Series, or Chevy low-cab forward truck. Whether gas or diesel, your truck is the lifeline of your business. That's why Rumpke's Garage offers free loaners while your truck is being serviced. They'll even pick up and deliver for your convenience. Rumpke's Garage has the factory scan tool to properly diagnose Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty. Go to Rumpke'sGarage.com to learn more about their specialization in Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks and schedule your appointment today. That's Rumpke's, REMKES, Garage.com.
All right, for years you've heard about Turnkey offering more than just managed IT services. Now, they've stepped up to offer even more business solutions to help you navigate the day-to-day hurdles and help you grow. Do you have long-term strategies such as identifying new revenue streams, growing your customer base, or increasing your bottom line? Guess what? Turnkey can help. Maybe it's a short-term problem like an employee leaving abruptly or filling positions you've had open for months. Maybe you need a shift supervisor, a part-time CFO, an IT guy, or a temporary general manager. Turnkey can help. Whether it's a seasonal problem or a long-term need, Turnkey's consulting staff has years of experience in nearly every business function. And for a limited time, Turnkey will provide a free consultation to look at your situation and see what it would take to resolve it. Go to turnkey.pro and learn more. The pros at Turnkey share your values, and they are Chicagoland small business champions. Visit turnkey.pro to book your appointment today. That's turnkey.pro.
Community Banks is proud to be ranked #1 in customer satisfaction with personal banking in Illinois by J.D. Power. That's one win. And we did it for the second year in a row. That's a win-win. And you can now earn even more interest with our new savings rates. That's a win-win-win. To get your savings some wins, visit wintrust.com/locknewrates today. That's wintrust.com/locknewrates. Members FDIC. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Meet BLM Brandon's deputy mayor for community safety at 7:07.
I can't wait. But now let's hop into that newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
An illegal mob at a Southside gas station, and an 18-year-old is dead in a drowning in Lake Michigan. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Air is running out. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. If they're alive, 5 people on board a tourist sub reported missing during a dive to the Titanic Sunday probably have less than 24 hours worth of oxygen left, but there's been a sign of hope.
The U.S. Coast Guard tweeting overnight, quote, Canadian P-3 aircraft detected underwater noises in the search area. Operations were relocated in an attempt to explore the origin of those noises. Those remote-operated vehicle searches have yielded so far negative results. The Pentagon has dispatched aircraft to drop sonar buoys in the search area. Those are floating microphones normally used to find submarines.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. President Biden calling China's president a dictator at a campaign fundraiser in California gets a response from China.
Extremely absurd and irresponsible, says Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning. She says President Biden's description of her boss goes totally against facts and is blatant provocation. The president said the U.S. shooting down China's spy balloon was a great embarrassment for dictators because President Xi Jinping didn't know what happened. China's always said it was a weather balloon blown off course. This just days after Secretary of State Antony Blinken met Xi Jinping in Beijing in what both sides hailed as a step towards mending relations. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
More potentially dangerous heat and a less dangerous-looking storm.
The heat is the biggest issue once again for Texas and Louisiana, with temperatures above 100 degrees and dangerous humidity levels. Tropical storm Brett continues to move westward through the Caribbean, but is expected to weaken this weekend and should not be a threat to the U.S.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean. A federal judge overturns Arkansas's ban on gender-affirming care for transgender youth. The judge rules that the ban violates the constitutional rights of those kids, their parents, and their doctors. America's listening to Fox News.
Skies are clear, sunshine, 64 degrees, and it is 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. An illegal mob at a Southside gas station drew hundreds of young people and a large police presence on Tuesday night. Video from the scene showing many jumping on cars at that BP gas station at 31st and Michigan Avenue. An 18-year-old woman was injured. An 18-year-old is dead, drowning in Lake Michigan. The town of Porter in northwest Indiana says a young man and a 14-year-old girl were struggling in the water around 7 p.m. on Tuesday evening. People at Porter Beach were able to get the 14-year-old girl out, but were not able to reach the 18-year-old. 8 people are hurt following a hit-and-run crash near Guaranteed Rate Field on Chicago's South Side.
It's highly unusual for how many years. So we're going to have to take a look back and see if there's anything else that Chicago police and the White Sox can do to help prevent this in the future.
A silver sedan struck 4 people crossing the street last night. That vehicle didn't stop and later crashed along the Dan Ryan near 46th. 4 in that vehicle were hospitalized and later arrested. Citations are pending after a vehicle crashed into a business on Chicago's South Side. A white van was struck by an SUV. The van then jumped the curb and hit a commercial business that was open. No one inside the business was hurt. The principal at Manteno High School has resigned from his job after his arrest in Bourbonnais at Kankakee River State Park. Roger Schnitzler was arrested last week for disorderly conduct and aggravated assault. Conservation police say they're looking into reports of lewd behavior as well. The White Sox get a controversial replay overturned to go their way and help them to a 7-6 win over the Rangers at Guaranteed Rate Field. Cubs blanked the Pirates 4-0. Cubs are now 3rd in the NL Central. The news, a service of Dan and Amy 24/7, around the clock, all day, every day. Listen now, Dan and Amy 247.com. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka is on Team Trump.
If you support anyone except President Trump, it means that you're fine with political persecution based upon the fact that he's got an R after his name. I don't want to live in that America, and I would hope you don't too.
America First with Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Afternoons at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's summertime, and you want to keep the shop, warehouse, and other doors open for ventilation. Air circulation improves the well-being of your employees and customers, but open doors can let in the uninvited, like strangers, birds, rodents, and bugs. Industrial Door Company of Chicago, Inc. can help solve the problem with a full line of commercial screen door products designed with these specific problems in mind. Call Industrial Door Company of Chicago, Inc. now. Also, regular scheduled maintenance is the key, and Industrial Door Company of Chicago, Inc. has multiple levels of maintenance programs for your company's needs and budget. They'll ensure your doors, grills, gates, and dock equipment are working to specification to increase the useful life of your doors. Visit their website to see a range of products and services at industrialdoor.com. Call anytime, 847-258-5620. Their team will be there to assist in designing a solution that works best for you. Since 1982, the Industrial Door Company of Chicago, Inc. takes care of your doors so you can take care of business.
Don't let earache from swimmer's ear, clogged ears, or allergies ruin your day. Get fast, effective relief from the pain and itching with Hyland's Earache Drops, the #1 best-selling earache treatment for over 10 years. See why it's received thousands of 5-star reviews and was awarded Best Over-the-Counter Medicine and Health Product in Earache Relief by U.S. News and World Report. Find Hyland's Earache Drops in the eye and ear aisle at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Claims based on traditional homeopathic practice, not accepted medical evidence, not FDA evaluated.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. Attorney General Merrick Garland needs to explain the timing of the indictment of former President Trump. How many months will pass from Donald Trump's arraignment on June 13th before a verdict in what might well be the trial of this century, the unprecedented federal criminal prosecution of a former president? The trial of O.J. Simpson took 16 months. That would mean the nation would be learning Trump's fate a matter of weeks before Election Day, with the accused very possibly on the 2024 presidential ballot. The idea that the Justice Department is flirting with this possibility is astonishing. Prosecutors had other options, but chose this 2 months before the Republican debates begin. My concerns are focused on the 31 counts concerning the documents in the Espionage Act. Was Trump's possession of those documents so dangerous to national security that the former commander-in-chief must be put in the dock and face a prison sentence of more than 300 years? The damage from all this is going to be very difficult to undo.
7:08. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center Time, a service of the Barbecue Authority. Your go-to for the largest selection of grills, smokers, and outdoor products is the BBQ Authority. Online at bbqauthority.com. Eden's 31 minutes, Lake Cook Road into the junction, the Kennedy. Right now, an hour 10 from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. The Icahn, it's about 1 hour from 390 into the old post office. The Stevenson, an accident involving two semis. A right lane is blocked on the inbound side of the Stevenson between Harlem and Pulaski. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Today, mostly sunny and warm. Our high today, 85. It'll be clear to partly cloudy tonight and a low 64. Partly sunny day tomorrow, the high 84. For Friday, sunshine, patchy clouds, and the high Friday at 86. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Sunshine 67 at O'Hare, 64 Lakefront. Your next news update, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, as we've discussed earlier in the week. What did we wind up with? 74 shot and 11 dead this weekend in Chicago?
75 shot, 13 killed.
75 and 13 now. And, of course, it's not just weekends. So we had incidents at 31st Street Beach and elsewhere yesterday.
Last night at a Southside gas station, they had a teen takeover. And it took a lot of people were arrested, but it took a while for them to.
And we've seen the videos that have become just part of the summer experience in Chicago. Young people twerking in front of police cars and otherwise behaving badly. Just a bad look for the city and a bad look for law enforcement. It makes the police look impotent, and that's conveyed throughout the city and the region. So what's to be done? Well, let's find out what BLM Brandon is doing. Part of that is the personnel choices he makes. a lot of people were initially optimistic that maybe he would back off some of the Maoist rhetoric and do sensible things when he named his chief of staff, and that chief of staff was a harken back to the Daley administration. But what you've seen in terms of senior level personnel around that chief of staff, who was ostensibly hired to manage the preparation for the DNC next year, and perhaps not much more, because what you see around him are red apparatchiks, basically. And that includes his newly minted deputy mayor for community safety. For more on that gentleman, we're pleased to be joined by Florian Sunke, who is the Chicago Contrarian. He's commentary on urban affairs in Chicago. Florian Sunke, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. Pleased to be back.
Tell us about Garion Gatewood.
I think it's probably best to start with the period between Johnson's election and his inauguration. We had the image makers over at the Chicago Teachers Union and the SEIU present us not with a union organizer or a former middle school teacher, but as the secular reincarnation of the Lord, and who had been elected mayor. In his transition period, we saw, I think, the appointment of 400 people to the committee itself and subcommittees. It was all overhyped. It was just puffed up union officials who were filling the ranks of this transition. I think you had mentioned there was some hope there might be Johnson would be backing away from some of this Marxist language. No chance. And after some lengthy discussion with Alyssa Rosenbaum and Marty Pribe, two contributors, we looked at the number of people who Johnson had appointed to his staff over at City Hall, and some of them were, as Alyssa pointed out, the common thread of his key appointees was the lack of skill and no real competence to be carrying out the responsibilities of the office to which they were appointed. You just have union organizers who are holding key positions in government. And when I spoke to Marty Pribe, we had conversation about his appointees to community safety and corporation counsel. And these two positions, held by Mary Richardson Lowry, and Garion Gatewood, were deeply troubling to us. Now, to Mayor Lightfoot's credit, as staggering and incompetent as Miss Lightfoot was as mayor, she did have an excellent pick as corporation counsel in Mark Flessner. Flessner was fighting many of the lawsuits launched against the city. And it's a sue and settle racket. You have people who are suing the city of Chicago for outrageous sums of money for ridiculous charges. And Flessner was fighting these in court, and even though we weren't victorious in many of them, the litigants were getting away with much less money than they had under Rahm Emanuel, who would greenlight every settlement.
All right,
but
so
we thought,
okay, but so I get the piece with the jackpot justice plays in Cook County to a generally compliant jury pool, but your point about fighting it and actually reducing the cost of taxpayers is noteworthy. But Garion Gatewood, the deputy mayor of community safety. When I read that he served as a law clerk with the Southern Poverty Law Center, I kind of tuned out, because we know what that is. That's just a leftist front group that calls all conservative groups white supremacists. But so tell me about this guy and the kind of impact he will have on the administration.
well, like I said, Lowry and Gatewood were the toughest, or the most difficult to swallow, because despite the fact he does have a law degree, he has spent his entire career as an apologist for juvenile offenders. And if you look at his resume, it has been activism on behalf of juvenile criminal offenders. And we believe his position as Deputy Mayor of Community Safety is really just a sheen over a position where he will use the office to marginalize police, to rewrite police policy, to remove critical leverage from police as they attempt to carry out their duties, to rewrite, as I stated in the essay, rewrite policy, particularly on foot or vehicular pursuit, to continue to limit police discretionary authority, and to really help facilitate the emergence and the increase of peacekeepers and violence interrupters to take over police responsibilities. That's what we believe his role is.
Right, but don't you think Mayor Johnson already believes that? I mean, between when he was elected and when inaugurated, he said about the teenage takeovers that those were just silly kids.
Yes, but this is the official way he's going to do it, by creating a whole new position to eventually replace police. They're going to increase their ranks. They're going to go out and recruit peacekeepers and violence interrupters to slowly move into police positions and assume more police responsibility. And this is going to cause a very serious problem on the streets. These are unarmed peacekeepers who have no real, they don't merit the respect the way police should, but this eventually is what his position is all about. And it's actually kind of Orwellian in some respect, because he's also going to be keeping an eye on police. They're going to be looking for ways to discredit police.
Well, I mean, just starting from premises here too. I mean, these two, BLM Brandon and his community deputy mayor for community safety here, this Gary Gatewood. I mean, just premise. They start from a premise that the problem on the west side and the south side is over policing, too much policing, right?
Absolutely. I think Johnson's worldview is the south and west sides have suffered from over-policing for decades, and it ended up in the mass incarceration we hear about. And it's completely false. If you have any conversation with the law-abiding residents in those high-crime neighborhoods, they are desperate for a police presence. They want police there. They want the criminals removed from the streets. And he doesn't believe this. There's more sympathy for criminals under Johnson, and certainly with Lightfoot, than there ever will be for the law-abiding.
And I know Martin Preeb talks to police routinely, and so the anticipation from police who will speak honestly and off the record about what this summer will be, is it going to be just weekend after weekend of what we saw this past weekend?
I think so. I believe Marty also believes so. We have I've got police contacts. I think we're just under 300 homicides. I think we're around 280 for the month or for the year. They believe the bloodletting is going to continue, and it's because there is no serious effort to combat the number one root cause of crime on the south and west sides, which is gang violence. And, as I stated in my essay, we're going to have more and more conversations about root causes, and we will ignore the main driver, gang violence, and a criminal, deliberate choice to engage in a life of crime. We often hear about how it's racism and poverty and disinvestment and school closures. It's nothing about a deliberate choice. Crime pays in Cook County. It has for many years. It's paid handsomely in the past 5 or 6 years because we have a court system which does not prosecute. We have judges who refuse to hold violent criminals in jail. And now we've got a mayor who has appointed a specialist in apologia for violent youth criminals.
He is Florian Sunka, the Chicago Contrarian, which provides commentary on urban affairs in Chicago. Do check it out, the Chicago Contrarian. Florian, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mick McDonald, co-founder of Configure One, the global leader in configure, price, and quote software for manufacturers, and a new customer of Signature Bank. Configure One recently came to Signature Bank for a loan under the Paycheck Protection Program after our previous business bank of 20 years left us out in the cold. When I called Signature, I worked directly with one of the founders of the bank, who assured me that my application would be submitted immediately. 1 week later, my loan was approved and funded, and I moved my entire banking relationship to Signature. Signature Bank is incredibly responsive, fully transparent, and a great partner for my business.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Guys, a lot of people talking about testosterone, but do your homework and go to a provider you can trust. I've been recommending my friends at Low T Center for 8 years. That's where I get my levels checked. Low T Center exclusively specializes in men's wellness. They check all your levels, not just your testosterone, and determine the cause of any symptoms you're having and whether you're a candidate for low T or something else like low thyroid or sleep apnea. Typically, their annual health assessment is completely covered by health insurance, and they do check everything, including PSA, your prostate levels, as well as thyroid, liver and kidney function, cholesterol, glucose levels, and more. Low T Center has affordable and convenient options for treatment, including a monitored self-inject treatment that ships directly to you each month, so there's no need to come to the center each week. Make your health a priority and schedule your annual health assessment at Low T Center today. It's covered by most health insurance or less than $100 cash pay. Visit lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Tell them Dan Proft sent you when you do. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Okay, I was going to follow our last guest on Twitter, and I noticed, Dan, you're not following me on Twitter. What gives? Why? Look, you're not. I'm following you. You're not, because I had to do a redo. I'm still at Amy Jacobson.
I'll have to talk to my team about that.
I mean,
we'll look into it. You know what?
What gives?
It's an ongoing investigation, and I can't comment on it.
Okay. All right, now's the time when structural problems can start in your home. Are you noticing new cracks in your walls or brickwork, sinking ground or concrete, sagging floors, gaps underneath baseboards, sticking doors and windows? Well, guess what? These are all symptoms of structural foundation problems, and it's time to call Permaseal Basement Systems. All too often, homeowners ignore these signs and then experience even bigger problems later on, which in turn costs way more to fix. So call Permaseal today, 800-421-SEAL, 800-421-7325. They will give you a thorough inspection for free. And they've got a great A-plus rating from the BBB and 4.9-star Google rating. So call the best in the business. Call Permaseal today, 800-421-SEAL, 800-421-7325, or visit permaseal.net.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
The 4th of July is an important holiday for all Americans. Hi, this is Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. For some husbands, however, in troubled marriages, holidays are marked more by hardship than harmony. If you're such a guy and considering divorce, know all your options, including alternatives to divorce. We advise, we advocate, and when necessary, we litigate.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Springfield area attorneys. 2815 Old Jacksonville Road, Suite 103, Springfield, Illinois, 62704.
If you're selling your home or purchasing a new home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Team Hochberg is offering every listener the Perks at Work benefit, which can save you thousands of dollars on your next real estate transaction. Here's how it works. When a Team Hochberg affiliated realtor sells your home, they'll reduce their fee up to 1%. When a Team Hochberg affiliated realtor helps you purchase a home, you will receive up to 1% of their commission in the form of a closing cost credit. Team Hochberg will credit all of your loan origination fees, and our affiliated attorney will reduce his fee. Last year, a couple who was buying and selling a home saved close to $9,000 with the Team Hochberg Perks at Work program. To learn how you can save thousands of dollars on your next real estate transaction, please give me a call now at 855-56-DAVID or visit our website, 56david.com. That number again is 855-563-2843 or visit our website, 56david.com. Lower.com, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I got to where I was sleeping in and I didn't like that. Within 2 or 3 days, I could tell the difference. Now I'm back to getting up early. I had more energy. I slept better at night. And in my therapy, I'm improving because I've got more energy. I truly believe in these things. I just know how I feel, and I tell everybody I can.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. For a limited time this summer, get $25 off your first order as a preferred customer, plus a free fruits and veggies travel set with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Got a text message in saying, hey, can you guys please play the soundbite of BLM Brandon?
Yeah, here you go. Instant request.
Those silly kids.
This is not just simply a strategy around policing. You have a collaboration of individuals who are committed to making sure that there's activity in Chicago. Look, demonizing children is wrong. We have to keep them safe as well. Have you ever taught middle school? I have. Have you ever raised young people? Do you understand the risk that young people take just because they're young? Do you know that home plate is at the bottom of my stairs? I found that out when my son was sliding down those stairs trying to score. They're young. Sometimes they make silly decisions. They do. And so we have to make sure that we are investing to make sure that young people know that they are supported.
And sometimes those silly decisions result in 75 shot and 13 dead.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll check in on 2024 and matters of economic policy and performance with Steve Moore, 7:37.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
7:30 on AM 560, The Answer. We have 67 degrees, and China is firing back this morning after President Biden called President Xi a dictator. Biden's comments this week came a day after meetings between Secretary of State Antony Blinken and President Xi in an effort to try and diffuse years of worsening tension.
Both the United States and China have an obligation to manage this relationship responsibly. Doing so serves the best interests of the United States, of China, indeed, of the world.
But now a Chinese foreign ministry spokesman called Biden's comments a violation of diplomatic protocol. The search continues for a missing vessel used to explore the Titanic, but there may be some hope. According to internal memos, crews searching for the vessel carrying 5 say they heard banging sounds. Tim Taylor is with Deep Sea Explorer and says A possible rescue is still on the table if passengers are found alive.
I think temperature is going to be a big factor if they don't have a way to keep themselves warm. They've been in freezing temperatures for 2 days now, and that's a major factor to consider as well.
It isn't known when the noises were heard or for how long. The U.S. Coast Guard is now receiving help from the Navy and Air Force in the U.S. and Canada as operations continue. Republican presidential candidate Tim Scott says answers are needed involving the Hunter Biden plea deal, a deal that Tim Scott called dangerous.
It's dangerous. Let me just say, we all know this, that the big guy has some explaining to do.
The comments come as Hunter Biden has struck a deal with federal prosecutors pleading guilty to 2 tax misdemeanors and a resolution to a felony gun charge. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy called it a sweetheart deal. The morning maritime advisory is out on Tropical Storm Brett. Stronger winds at about 60 miles an hour. It is set to move across portions of the Lesser Antilles by tomorrow. A fire that started in a New York City e-bike shop spread to upper floor apartments, killing 4 and injuring several others. Fire officials say the Tuesday blaze in the Chinatown neighborhood was an accident caused by lithium-ion batteries. An illegal mob at a Southside gas station drew hundreds of young people and a large police presence Tuesday night. It happened near 31st in Michigan. Chicago police say an 18-year-old woman was hurt. An 18-year-old man is dead after drowning in Lake Michigan. The town of Porter, Indiana police say the young man and a 14-year-old girl were struggling in the water around 7 last night. People at Porter Beach were able to get the 14-year-old girl out, but were unable to reach the 18-year-old. An audit by the Illinois Auditor General shows repeated major problems with operations at the Illinois State Board of Education, including not having proper controls in place to monitor requirements regarding professional educator license renewal. State Representative Brad Halbrook says issues like these should be avoided at such a large state agency.
It just shows this is concerning to a lot of us. I think an agency this size that is nearly $10 billion has got to have some accountability.
The audit also found that ISB overstated its budget by $305 million. White Sox get a controversial replay overturn, leading to a 7-6 win over the Rangers, while the Cubs blanked the Pirates at PNC Park 4-0. The news, a service of MyPillow. Brand new MyPillow 2.0, buy one, get one free, promo code LIBERTY, machine washable and dryable, MyPillow.com, promo code LIBERTY. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Charlie Kirk goes on the attack.
I'm exhausted talking about the Biden thing. It doesn't interest me, but I have to get over that. With Jim Jordan and Speaker McCarthy, we have to now say, okay, you're going to run this crook for the White House in 2024. Equal and opposite reaction, folks. This guy is the El Chapo of political corruption. He is the kingpin.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. Your business and your money are in good hands with Signature Bank. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dan Migatz, co-owner and CFO of AM Woodland Outdoor Design in Mundelein, and a new customer of Signature Bank. We specialize in the creative design and construction of outdoor living spaces, providing our residential and commercial customers first-in-class landscaping services. Our company was founded as a one-man operation, and today has grown into a multifaceted, one-stop shop for outdoor and indoor design and contracting needs. Signature Bank was there to provide the capital needed to grow our expansion efforts. We wanted to work with a bank that understands our business and is relationship focused. Signature Bank is what a relationship bank is all about. We're excited to continue our partnership for many years to come.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
My brother was here with his wife, and I said, listen, take the rest of these 2 bottles And my brother's like, well, and I said, no, there's nothing to think about. Just get it, order it, get it on auto ship. And in the first couple months, you may not thank me and go, I don't feel anything. But I said, but about that third month, it starts kicking in. I mean, I'm singing, I'm doing dishes. I love it. Absolutely love, love, love it.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. For a limited time this summer, get $25 off your first order as a preferred customer, plus a free fruits and veggies travel set with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Are you considering a unique way to enhance your investment knowledge this year? Then sign up today for the all-inclusive Eagle Financial Publications Cruise. Along with our trusted partner, The Money Show, we're setting sail this December to explore some of the most beautiful and unspoiled destinations in the Caribbean. But this is no ordinary vacation. It's a chance to learn from top Eagle Financial experts like best-selling authors George Gilder, Mark Skousen, and others who will be hosting a series of workshops and seminars throughout the trip. Imagine lounging on the sun deck while discussing investment strategies with like-minded individuals, or enjoying a gourmet dinner at the same table with one of our leading financial authorities. This once-in-a-lifetime cruise is a perfect way to combine education and relaxation to achieve your investment goals. This cruise will sell out quickly, so visit EagleFinancialCruise.com today to learn more and to secure your cabin. That's EagleFinancialCruise.com. Eagle Financial is a division of Salem Media Group.
Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance.
7:38. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Inbound on the Edens, 34 minutes. Lake Cook Road to the junction. The Kennedy, an hour 20 from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Outbound Kennedy jams solid from the Burns Circle out to Madison due to an accident. Right now, 41 out to the big airport. Stevenson inbound, an accident involving two semis. A right lane blocked inbound between Harlem and Pulaski. Dan Ryan, a rollover semi. 3 right lanes are blocked. It's in the locals, outbound between Pershing and 47th. Big mess this morning. 30 minutes in climbing down to 95th. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Mostly sunny and 85 today. Heating up rapidly now, 68 degrees at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Good op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. You may want to take notice of in Illinois, since we're one of the states being addressed. We hope progressive states, that's a euphemistic way to describe them. I would accept Maoist. I would accept New Marxist.
Okay.
States, we hope...
Progressive's not enough.
We hope they enjoyed their COVID spending party while it lasts. Now arrives the hangover as federal largesse ebbs and tax revenue falls from unsustainable heights. For example, in New York, state tax collections are running 32% lower than a year ago, with personal income tax revenue lagging 45%. Yeah, because a lot of those New York residents are now in Southwest Florida and other locales, the cold Civil War. That's just the New York example. California's a budget where the top 0.5% pay 40% of state income tax. Is that their fair share? Income tax collections are 35% below a year earlier. Corporate tax revenue down by a third. We just talked yesterday about that with that documentarian who just made a film about California's exodus.
Oh, that's right. Leaving California, in case you want to see it.
By contrast, in DeSantis land, Florida's corporate tax revenue is up 58% year over year. Florida's $117 billion budget is half as large as New York's, though it has 2.5 million more people. More population, a budget half the size of New York. Interesting. Red states and blue states. The saga continues. For more on this and other matters, please be joined by Steve Moore, economist and author of Govzilla. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Hey, good morning, guys. And by the way, I was just listening to what you were saying, Dan. And, you know, when I was growing up in the Chicagoland back in the 70s, you know, Republicans actually, there were a lot of Republicans in Illinois. And, you know, it's not like they all died. It's just that they now move in. They've lived to Austin, Texas, and they live in Palm Beach, and they live in Tampa, Florida, and they live in Scottsdale, Arizona. And so it's created a situation where you have these blue states like Connecticut and New York and New Jersey and Illinois and California that are just dying. They're being bled to death. And when these rich people like Ken Griffin leave, and I remember when he decided, the liberals say, let them leave. We don't need these billionaires. And, of course, they take the money with them that funds the schools and the museums and the homeless shelters. And so it's a real problem. Progressivism doesn't work. It leads, when you try to tax the rich, what happens is the rich move, and they move to Florida. Of course, all your listeners know that the income tax in Florida is exactly zero. The income tax in Texas is exactly zero. I was just out in California for about a week, and, you know, California is a beautiful place, but I can't tell you how many people I talked to just said, I'm finally fed up with the state, and, you know, I'm going to move to Texas. Now, nobody moves from California to Texas because of the weather, right? I mean, so people are really feeling the pain of this, and it is causing deep budget problems for states like Illinois. What else can I say?
Yeah. Interesting story, too, sort of at the micro level here. Let's go from macro to micro. This piece about those shopping at stores like Dollar General in market, which tracks retailer foot traffic, measured a 4% increase in the share of dollar store visits this year among those making more than $100,000 compared with the second half of 2022. Households with six-figure incomes 15% more likely to say they would shop at dollar stores than they were last June. You know, paying retail is getting less fashionable.
Yeah, and the problem, of course, Dan and Amy, is the dollar store isn't $1 anymore.
No, it's $1.25. Don't get me started. I go to the dollar store every week. I go to the dollar store. You get great deals. Get cat food there, cleaning supplies, paper products. I mean, you could save so much money. Carpet Fresh.
You should be a Dollar General spokesmodel.
Pretty soon it'll be the $2 store.
Right.
If Joe Biden gets reelected, you know, we're going to have that problem. Look, this is so obvious that if you keep your tax rates low and you have good schools and you control the crime, you're going to have a place that's affluent with growing number of people and families and
opportunities.
In New York, in New York, the Republican who ran, what was his name again for governor? I'm blanking out on his name, but he came within an eyelash of winning the governor's race.
Lee Zeldin
in New York. Lee Zeldin, and he would have won. You know why he didn't win, Dan? Because there were 1 million Republicans who moved out of the state. So if he'd run 10 years ago, he would have easily won the race. So what you're getting now is a kind of ideological division in this country where, you know, you've got blue states and you've got red states, and the red state model is working. That's why I would love to see. I mean, look, I haven't made up my mind who I'm backing for president among all the Republicans, but you know, I'd kind of love to see Gavin Newsom run against Ron DeSantis, and let's lay out in front of the American people, Dan and Amy. Here's the Florida model, and here's the California model. Which do you want, America? Do you want America to look like California, where people are leaving, where you got homeless tense every block of Los Angeles and San Francisco, where you've got drug problems, where you've got, lousy schools, or do you want a place like Florida that's dynamic? Right now I was in Palm Beach. They were saying Palm Beach is the new Silicon Valley. That's where the tech companies are moving to.
Yep. Well, what about, don't you think they're positioning Gavin Newsom for something? He was on with Hannity, did an extensive interview. He's even trying to warm up to the right. It's very creepy.
They are. Oh, you know what, Amy, you're making a really good point. I've met Governor Gavin Newsom several times before he was governor. And I got to tell you, the guy, I don't know, Dan, have you ever met Gavin Newsom?
Thankfully, no.
Okay.
But I have been to the French Laundry.
Yeah, exactly. You mean you weren't invited to that, $800 plate dinner? Well, I got to say this about Gavin Newsom. He's one of the most charming, dapper people you'll ever meet. He could not be a nicer guy. You know who he reminds me of, Dan? Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton. Now, I've met Bill Clinton. That guy can work a room. Wow.
You know who he reminds me of, Steve? You know who Gavin Newsom reminds me of? He reminds me of Patrick Bateman in American Psycho. And that's who he actually is, I suspect. Yeah. I'm sure he likes Huey Lewis and chainsaws, too.
Yeah. And by the way, Amy, I'm not gay, but if I were gay, I could go for a guy like Gavin Newsom.
Oh, my God. No. Oh, my God. All right, hold on. Okay. All right.
This is the kind of relationship Stephen and I have. We can exchange ideas and thoughts.
Steve, you're not on The View.
He has the tailored suits. He's like impeccably dressed.
Is he tall?
And don't forget, by the way, he was married. Remember who he was married
Kimberly
to?
Guilfoyle. Yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something?
Honey, I'm home.
Okay.
I will say this, to make a serious point, though. Of all the Democrats that, because I'm going to make this bet on the Dan and Amy show, that Joe Biden is not the Democratic nominee in 2024. I think that they're going to throw him over the side. He's going to say, he just can't do it, and he served his time. And then they're going to be looking for somebody else. Now, Pete Buttigieg, really? No. I'd love to run against Pete Buttigieg. Kamala?
No.
Love to run against Kamala. Any of these others. But I do worry about Gavin Newsom because I watched that interview that he had on Hannity. I'm like, this guy's sounding like a moderate. He's the most liberal politician in America. And he's talking about, let's govern from the middle. And he's done none of that. He's for reparations. He wants reparations in California.
Well, he wants to at least pretend like he wants reparations. So this idea that Biden is out the door, he just cleaned up the whole Biden Inc. matter with Hunter's plea deal. So now all that ugliness is behind us, no matter what the House Republicans do.
Yeah, and boy, did he get a stern slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
I'm sure his wrist is very sore today.
But I mean, I still can't bring myself to believe that he actually makes the race as well. But all signs are pointing in that direction, and we're only a few months away of really getting into it.
Well, the good news is, folks, if he is reelected, we are going to have a railroad that goes all the way from Los Angeles to Africa, over the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah. All right, Steve.
That is a guy who was a forward thinker. He
visionary.
Has big visions for America. Yeah. And we're going to build a solar plant in was it, Burma or some other country? The more you listen to him, you wonder what the hell is he talking about?
Well, he's just talking about it. Gavin Newsom actually spent $80 billion trying to in a high-speed rail boondoggle. So, the record's no better.
At least that was over land. I want to see how they build a 3,000-mile, railroad over water. That should be an interesting experiment.
All right, Steve, we're going to let you go before you tell us that you're not gay, but if you were gay, which Republican dude you would be attracted to. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear any more of that. All right, Steve.
I will.
Don't answer the question.
Yeah. All right. Steve Moore, economist, Godzilla author. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Guys, have a great week. Take care.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you looking for an interview podcast where you can be entertained and informed? Come check out our new podcast, America's Talking, to hear conversations with great stand-up comedians like Mark Normand.
Norm made you feel smarter than him, even though he was smarter than you.
As well as with leaders in the United States, like former Ambassador Andrew Bremberg.
I remember the fall of the evil empire. When the wall fell, every adult I saw was crying.
I'm your host, Austin Berg, and I want you to join the conversation on our new podcast, America's Talking, right now on Spotify.
Are you looking for a new podcast where you can get your national news from a taxpayer's perspective? Check out the America in Focus podcast featuring the Center Square's Dan McCaleb.
This jobs report, in some ways, it contradicts what I'm seeing anecdotally.
And Casey Harper.
And it's not just the economy. He has a 28% approval on the economy, but he also has 36% approval on foreign policy.
Find America in Focus wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. That's America in Focus, a news podcast from a taxpayer's perspective.
The weather is heating up, so are the savings at Wilkins Mazda in Elmhurst. Dan Proft here. If you're looking for a new or pre-owned Mazda, you need to visit Wilkins Mazda in Elmhurst. You'll find the Mazda you want, and the price you see is the price you get. No games, no gimmicks. And right now is a great time to buy a new Mazda with limited time incentives that only come around once a year. You can lease a 2023 Mazda CX-30 for $286 a month, or a 2023 Mazda CX-5 for $319 a month, for 36 months with approved credit through Mazda Capital Services for qualified buyers. Just add license, title, tax, and $324.24 dock fee to those numbers. Plus, stop in today and ask about the all-new 2024 Mazda CX-90, popular model. And to keep your Mazda running great all year round, schedule your next service appointment right there online at WilkinsMazdaCars.com. Wilkins Mazda is conveniently located in Elmhurst off York Road and 290, just minutes from Oak Brook, downtown, and Schaumburg. Experience the next level of excellence at Wilkins Mazda in Elmhurst. Visit WilkinsMazdaCars.com. See dealer for details.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Guys, there's a lot of people talking about testosterone, but do your homework and be sure to go to a provider you can trust. I've been recommending my friends at Low T Center for 8 years. It's where I get my levels checked. Low T Center exclusively specializes in men's wellness. They check all your levels, not just your testosterone, and determine the cause of any symptoms you're having, and whether you're a candidate for low T or something else like low thyroid or sleep apnea. Typically, their annual health assessment is completely covered by health insurance, and they check everything, including your PSA, which is your prostate levels, and they check thyroid, liver and kidney function, cholesterol, glucose levels, and more. Low T Center has affordable and convenient options for treatment, including monitored self-inject treatment that ships directly to you each month, so there's no need to come to the center each week. Make your health a priority and schedule your annual health assessment at Low T Center today. It's covered by most health insurance or less than $100 cash pay. Visit lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Tell them Dan Proft sent you. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
That's Dot. She's here to greet me after a long day. She's the only one who wants to be near me when I'm sick. She's my best friend. Thanks to folks like South Suburban Humane Society, Dot went from living on the street to a dog that wears clothes. Yep, I'm that guy. So how did I get so lucky? Before I met Dot, I spent time at South Suburban. Giving to a nonprofit isn't always about giving money or donating food and supplies, although that's appreciated too. South Suburban Pets just want your love. We encourage you to come by the facility, take a dog for a walk, play with Dot's cat friends, or even foster a pet to keep your flexibility. If you're interested in how you can volunteer or donate, visit them at southsuburbanhumane.org. That's right, Dot. South Suburban is a 501c3, which means all donations are tax deductible for individuals and businesses. Text DONATE to 708-866-0065 or visit southsuburbanhumane.org. South Suburban Humane Society, creating a better world for pets and their people.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I got to where I was sleeping in and I didn't like that. Within 2 or 3 days, I could tell the difference. Now I'm back to getting up early. I had more energy. I slept better at night. And in my therapy, am improving because I've got more energy. I truly believe in these things. I just know how I feel, and I tell everybody I can.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. For a limited time this summer, get $25 off your first order as a preferred customer, plus a free fruits and veggies travel set with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
My name is Jason Hansen. I'm a former CIA officer and New York Times bestselling author. You can protect your hard-earned retirement assets with a tax-free loophole that allows you to convert your retirement into physical gold and silver. Advantage Gold is the nation's highest-rated gold company. They have the best process, pricing, and service. If you want to get your free gold and silver investment kit, please contact Advantage Gold right now. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
Call 800-900-8000.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, science. It's just the science. I'm just reporting the science. Scientific Reports, which is a journal owned by Nature, the research found AI, that's artificial intelligence, can predict a person's political ideology with 61% accuracy just by analyzing one headshot.
By a headshot?
Yeah, 61% accuracy. Look at a headshot. AI can predict the person's political ideology. And this study conducted in Denmark found that for females, high attractiveness scores were found among those the model identified as likely to be conservative.
Well, of course.
Mm-hmm. These results are credible, according to the study, given the previous research using human raters has also highlighted a link between attractiveness and conservatism. It's not just men. It's not just women, though. Attractiveness was not only the correlate of a model predicting ideology. We also found that expressing happiness is associated with conservatism for both genders.
Oh.
So conservatives are better looking and happier. And one of the reasons that conservative women are more attractive is because they're actually women these days. But yeah, how about that?
Wasn't there a liberal woman looking for a man? She couldn't find any good-looking men that were liberal, so all the good-looking men are conservative.
Yeah.
And look like Dan.
Men of character.
And happy, because when I look at you, I think happy.
Yeah, I mean,
God.
I radiate it. I know.
You're oozing this happiness.
I just love this. So just to summarize, men and women of the left are hateful shrews, and conservatives are happy, attractive people. Okay. Look, I'm just reporting the science.
Exactly. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know how to prevent nuclear war.
How?
You want to know?
Well, do I have to wait until 8:08?
You queer nuclear weapons. You got to queer them. 8:08.
Today we're going to have mostly sunny skies, warm, a high of 85 degrees. It is now 8 a.m. WIND Chicago.
Sounds of Hope. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The Coast Guard says sounds have been detected underwater during the search for a missing tourist submersible taking people to the wreck of the Titanic with 5 people on board.
Great beacon of hope for many of us who are anxiously awaiting news.
Bill Willard's a friend of someone on the sub, a French Navy diver who's led other expeditions to the Titanic. The group left Sunday, and if they're alive, have perhaps more than 24 hours of oxygen left. The House Judiciary Committee this hour holds a hearing with Special Counsel John Durham about his investigation of the FBI investigation into the Trump campaign ties to Russia. He spoke with the House Intelligence Committee privately yesterday.
The chairman of that committee, Congressman Mike Turner, says that he got information from Durham that may be very helpful to fixing the problems within the FBI. It will be his first open setting testifying on his investigation into Crossfire Hurricane, examining the origins and justification of the FBI's probe of then presidential candidate Donald Trump and his alleged contacts with Russia. Now, Durham's final report on the probe concluded the FBI had no actual evidence for launching its multi-year investigation, but did not, quote, find politicization within the Bureau.
Fox's Griff Jenkins in D.C. A heat wave in Texas is expected to last and maybe intensify into next week. People are being asked to conserve energy and air conditioner use.
We try and keep it at 78, and we use a thermostat that has it locked in so the kids aren't coming and messing with it.
She's in Dallas. The Russian military reports shooting down 3 drones approaching a military warehouse about 40 miles from Moscow, calling it an act of terrorism by Ukraine. Fox's Greg Palcott in Kyiv, Ukraine.
Ukraine's counteroffensive continues, with officials describing fierce fighting and tough battles in the south and east along the front line with Russia. Moscow fighting back with a record 83 airstrikes hitting Ukrainian positions in the last 24 hours.
America's listening to Fox News.
.68 degrees, sunshine, and 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. An illegal mob at a Southside gas station drew hundreds of young people and a large police presence on Tuesday night near 31st and Michigan Avenue. Police say an 18-year-old woman was hurt. An 18-year-old man is dead, drowning in Lake Michigan near the town of Porter, Indiana. The young man and a 14-year-old girl were struggling in the water around 7 last night. People at Porter Beach were able to get the 14-year-old girl out, but were unable to reach the 18-year-old. 8 were hurt following a hit-and-run crash near Guaranteed Rate Field right before the White Sox game last night. Police say this type of incident before a game is unusual.
Something like this occurred. So we're going to have to take a look back and see if there's anything else that Chicago police and the White Sox can do to help prevent this in the future.
The sedan hit 4 crossing the street last night. The vehicle did not stop, but eventually crashed on the Dan Ryan near 46th Street. The 4 men in the vehicle were also sent to the hospital and later arrested. City of Naperville remembering the University of Illinois graduate who died after she was savagely attacked while hiking in Germany last week. A moment of silence was held at yesterday's city council meeting to honor the Naperville native Eva Liu. Chicago sports. Southsiders a 7-6 win over the Rangers last night while the Cubs shut out the Pirates 4-0. The news a service of Tom Mirabali Insurance. You need a health insurance advocate. You need Tom Mirabali Insurance. Reach Tom, a Blue Cross Blue Shield agent, at healthplanchicago.com. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. Now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Wall Street is waiting for an update on the economy. Fed Chair Jerome Powell will be appearing today at the House Financial Services Committee. He'll be back at the Senate Banking Committee tomorrow. There are conflicting signs in the global economy. British inflation came in at 8.7% in May. The Bank of England is expected to raise interest rates tomorrow. Economists are now predicting the German economy will slow more than previously expected this year. Google Cloud is launching a new tool for banks to fight money laundering. It will use artificial intelligence to help screen for and report potentially suspicious activity. Shares of recliner and furniture company La-Z-Boy are slumping. La-Z-Boy saw a better than expected quarter, but it's cautious about this year. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola. Invested in you.
8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Charlie Kirk goes on the attack.
I'm exhausted talking about the Biden thing. It doesn't interest me, but I have to get over that. With Jim Jordan and Speaker McCarthy, we have to now say, okay, you're going to run this crook for the White House in 2024. Equal and opposite reaction, folks. This guy is the El Chapo of political corruption. He is the kingpin.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Sean Thompson here. You know I like to speak the truth about the Democrat mafia, and boy does it make my blood boil. Well, if you have high blood pressure or know someone who does, I have the answer for you. 120 Life. They're a Chicago company that developed a juice drink that helps lower blood pressure naturally. 120 Life is a natural juice drink made of pomegranates, tart cherries, cranberries, hibiscus, beetroot, and magnesium. It helps lower blood pressure without the side effects of pills. I'm drinking it and I love it. You will too. It keeps me energized and keeps my blood pressure in check. The truth is there are easy, natural ways to keep your blood pressure in check, and one of them is 120 Life. Check it out and tell them Sean Thompson sent you. Visit 120life.com. That's 120life.com. You can order a 2-week trial pack of their juice drink. There's a money-back guarantee, and you can use the coupon code LIBERTY to save 15%. The natural answer to high blood pressure. Visit 120life.com. That's 120life.com. And start lowering your blood pressure in just 2 weeks.
Don't let earache from swimmer's ear, clogged ears, or allergies ruin your day. Get fast, effective relief from the pain and itching with Hyland's Earache Drops, the #1 best-selling earache treatment for over 10 years. See why it's received thousands of 5-star reviews and was awarded Best Over-the-Counter Medicine and Health Product in Earache Relief by U.S. News and World Report. Find Hyland's Earache Drops in the eye and ear aisle at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Claims based on traditional homeopathic practice, not accepted medical evidence, not FDA evaluated.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
8:07 and a check of your roads in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. The Eden's at 36 minutes in climbing from Lake Cook Road into the junction, while the Kennedy is at a full hour and a half now, O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Kennedy outbound, an accident with a right lane block between the Burns Circle and Madison. It's 42 minutes outbound. To the big airport this morning, Stevenson inbound, accident, right lane blocked involving 2 semis. It's inbound between Harlem and Pulaski. Solid on the outbound Dan Ryan between Pershing and 47th due to a rollover semi. 3 right lanes are blocked. Traffic is using the left shoulder and the slip-in ramp to the express to get around that crash. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Warm day, lots of sun, high 85. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 64. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a high 84. And then tomorrow night, clouds, low 62. Sun, patchy clouds, a warm day on Friday, a high 86. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
68 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. How far we've come in a short period of time. This exchange between a Scottish student at a school called Mearns Academy, across the pond there, who was kicked out of class for saying that there are only 2 sexes, and this is an exchange with his teacher who kicked him out of class. Very similar to the story we discussed out of Middlesbrough, Massachusetts earlier this week, that is in the courts now, where a student, 12-year-old student, Liam Cunningham, was disciplined for wearing a "There Are Only Two Sexes" T-shirt.
Oh, that's right.
Source of litigation. And the school's censorship of that T-shirt and punishment of young Liam has been upheld at the district court level, and we'll see if the family appeals. Hopefully they will. This should, as I mentioned when we discussed this should go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court should apply the Tinker precedent and establish some additional guidelines, additional precedent, strengthen the precedent in the wake of the era of untruth in which we live. So that Scottish student who said in class there were only two sexes.
You're entitled to your opinion. If I am, then why would you kick me out of class? It's not very inclusive of
Can I finish
opinion.
my sentence, please? Not very inclusive. No, I'm sorry. What you were saying was not very inclusive, and this is an inclusive school.
Yeah, how was what I was saying?
Because I was saying that what's wrong with the website is that there are more than one gender in
Well,
this country.
that's
by law.
your opinion.
That is my opinion, and that is an opinion which is acceptable in the school. I'm afraid yours, which you're saying that there's no such thing as anyone other than male or female, is not
Scientifically,
inclusive.
there are just two genders, depending on what
I get that.
gender
But
you have.
you're choosing to make an issue of this because I said, "Are you really going to do it?" That was your opportunity to keep quiet.
You made the issue with it on the website. You said, "Oh, this website doesn't have more than two
Murray,
genders."
you were clearly given an opportunity not to pursue it. You chose to do so.
Yeah, because I think it's
You
silly.
chose to do so. Yes, that's the key question. You chose to do so.
I think it's silly to have anything other than two genders. So
That okay? Could
anything
you please,
else is a
could you
personal
please keep that opinion to your own house? Thank you. Not in the
So
school.
you get to put your opinion out in class, and my
No,
opinion. has to-
I am not.
My
putting
opinion has to stay
I am
inside my
not
house.
putting my opinion. I am not putting my opinion out. I am stating what is national school authority policy. Okay?
Well, it's not scientific whatsoever.
Not every policy is scientific, not every policy is scientific, Murray.
And you can't come out here and say that I'm not being inclusive when someone says
I
something you
didn't say
disagree with.
you,
So you
I said what you were saying was not being
You
inclusive.
kick me out of class. If you want to have a discussion about it, we could have had a discussion. You don't have to kick me out of class.
I'm
and
sorry,
waste 30
I'm-
minutes of my time, where I could have been down revising, doing something else. Instead, I state something I believe in. You kick me out of class for 30 minutes. I'm
Okay.
waiting on the.
Take this somewhere else, Murray. You can make an official complaint.
I'm not
Please
going to
do.
make an official complaint.
Why not?
I just think it's.
I know what you think, and I know what the authority thinks. I know what the authority's point of view
Well, I know
is.
what science thinks.
Very clear that we make no discrimination on the grounds of various.
I wasn't making discrimination. I'm simply saying there are two genders, male and female.
Yeah.
Anything
I'm-
else is a personal identification.
I'm sorry, but you chose to make an issue of making a point which is contrary to policy.
You
right?
made the issue when you complained about the website, sir.
Yes, and I made it in a way.
And I responded
and
to
I
that by
made,
saying, but there are only two genders.
and
I never
said
made the issue.
That, okay, I am not going here. You can choose, but you're making bad choices.
I'm making bad choices, okay.
I think-
Well, can I take my bag and go to the research area and start revising
No,
it?
you can stay here.
Okay, I'll stay here. Thanks for wasting my time.
You know when that happened?
Last week?
2017.
20. Wow.
How long have we been asleep? Some of us. 2017. You had a scene that could have been ripped from the pages of 1984. The teacher has his view that's sanctioned by authority, this generic authority to which he creepily refers. And you don't think it's going on in your school? Come on. You don't think it's going on in your kids' schools? Like wildfire, it spread. Like a virus, perhaps more accurately. Oh, and related story. It's not just science and math and reading. New York Times reporting about 40% of 8th graders scored below basic in U.S. history last year, compared with 34% in 2018, 29% in 2014. Just 13% of 8th graders were considered proficient compared to 18% nearly a decade ago. Talk about another indicator of the slide towards Gomorrah. We don't know anything about history. We are, our young people. Young people don't know anything about American history. Don't seem to much care. Certainly, they're not told to care much other than to despise it. Just focus on inclusion and equity. Just focus on repeating the orthodoxy back to me. Not proficient in math, not proficient in reading, know nothing about U.S. history. Scores match record lows in science, math, and reading. The New York Times, waxing philosophic about what might be going on here. In history, it's possible that reduced reading comprehension played some role in student performance. Oh, you think? Reduced reading comprehension. Also, how about reduced emphasis on reading and writing and doing arithmetic and then applying those skills to critical thinking about history and other topics? Yeah, amazing. Reading is sort of a building block for things. Who knew? Thank you, New York Times. So where have we come in just the last 6 years? Where do you think we are today? Here's the suggested reading list, summer reading list for students entering the 6th grade in Hinsdale, District 181. American history texts, basics, the classics, age-appropriate classics, Western Civ. No. Colin Kaepernick's new book on black liberation. Our history has always been contraband in defense of black studies. Colin Kaepernick has a book out. We're going to try and get him on the show.
We should.
Can't wait to read it. This will be in your libraries, guarantee it. If not your English lit classes. Do they still have those? The students entering 6th grade next year in District 181.
Do I want to know this?
Number 1 with a bullet. Top of the suggested summer reading list. Answers in the pages. When Donovan left his copy of The Adventures on the kitchen counter, he didn't think his mom would read it, much less have a problem with it. It's just an adventure novel about 2 characters trying to stop an evil genius, right? But soon the entire town is freaking about whether the book's main characters are gay. Donovan's, I don't know, there's a typo. Donovan's mom is trying to get the book removed from the school curriculum, and Donovan is caught in the middle. Donovan doesn't really know if the 2 boys fall in love at the end or not, but he does know this. Even if they do, it shouldn't matter. This book should not be banned from school. Interweaving 3 connected storylines, David Levithan delivers a bold, fun, and timely story about taking action, being brave, and standing up for what's right. Did I mention it's Pride Month?
It is.
Are people aware of this?
Is that why there's so many bright colors everywhere?
Mm-hmm. So that's for the grade schoolers in your life and other such tomes that are significantly more graphic. But, some places they're beating you over the head and shocking you, and others it's more subtle. But they're all driving your kids to the same destination. Where you're thrown out of class for daring to contradict the authorities' position, as in that Scottish school. So where are we today? 6 years later? Queering nuclear weapons, how LGBTQ plus inclusion strengthens security and reshapes disarmament. You want to stop nuclear war, you got to queer the nukes.
Wait. How are they doing that?
Thank you for asking. By the way, this is Pride Month.
Is it really?
Yeah. When the stakes of making best informed decisions are as high as they are with nuclear weapons, governments can't afford to lose out on the human capital and innovation potential of queer people. Informed by their life experiences, queer people have specific skills to offer that are valuable in a policy and diplomacy context. LGBTQ plus people often must navigate being different from those around them, develop the ability to listen and empathize, and mobilize the skill and perseverance to make themselves heard. You want to get the Iranians to stop their nuclear program, just send over the LGBTQ plus. Maybe some of the two S's too, the two-spirited, right?
Is this? Are we living in La La Land?
Kim Jong-un.
Kim
Kim Jong-un.
Could be gay, maybe not.
Meet Sam Britton.
Oh yeah,
recently released
from prison after stealing women's high-end suitcases.
This is perhaps he can do community service. He can get on the Hunter program, do community service. We'll plead you out. You go get Kim Jong-un's nukes, dude. Stop the nuclear program.
Who are they thinking hiring Sam Britton? I mean,
like I care about whether a diplomat is gay or not, but
I don't care. But you're a thief, and you look.
No, I'm not talking about Sam Britton. Big, take it big. Queering nuclear weapons is supposed to be a think piece. And the paragraph I just read to you is the thesis, essentially. That's where we're at. And by the way, you won't just hear it on the show. You'll probably have it, your kid, if he's, in the primary grades, will probably have it as assigned reading. Oak Park was so ahead of the learning curve. John in Florence, Wisconsin.
Yeah, my pronouns for Pride Month are like any other month. Mr., Sir, or Captain.
Captain.
As a lifelong truck driver, Pride Month was just like any other month. Who was offering free Pride in truck stops and rest areas. A lot of pride in that. I look at this, we used to have fables, the emperor has no clothes. And I'll call you whatever you want to be called, but I'm not going to share in your mental illness. And that's what all this is. And if it's not a mental illness, it's a fetish, it's a narcissistic perversion, it's a distraction. And I'm so glad because with legacy media gone, except for you guys and the social media, the podcast world, how I'm watching you guys on YouTube right now, where you see this one reel from a school-at-home mom that says, why am I concerned with what you do in the bedroom? I'm not. Put it back in the bedroom. You can't make me believe that black is white and white is black. You have to stand up for it. And one more quick thing, Dan. One of your hardcore listeners passed away last Saturday, and I just want to give a shout out to Brother Danny. Miss him greatly.
Oh, sorry to hear
that.
Guys
have a good day. He's one of your guys. The Northwestern medical community is hurting this week.
Oh,
but he hardcore Catholic, and for he sent me a signed copy of Broken Mary from when Kevin Matthews.
Oh yeah, right, Kevin Matthews. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, we had him on the show to discuss that. Yeah.
I got a signed copy sitting here next to me that he sent me, and we were going to talk about, and then God's will above man's. But for Danny, hey, free bird.
All right. Condolences. Thanks for the call, John. Another selection from the District 81 summer reading list. You want to hear?
Yes, please. Because I want to write this down.
Students entering 6th grade. Yusuf Asim is not a hero. Yusuf Asim has spent all his life in a small town of Fry, Texas. See if you can figure out where this is going. And nearly that long waiting for a chance to participate in the regional robotics competition, which he just knows he can win. Only this year is going to be more difficult than he thought, because this year is the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, an anniversary that everyone in his Muslim community on edge, with Never Forget banners everywhere and a hostile group of townspeople protesting the new mosque. Yusuf realizes the country's anger from two decades ago hasn't gone away. Can he hold on to his joy and his friendships in the face of heartache and prejudice? Because America is a racist country, particularly once you get outside of sophisticated urban centers. So people in a small town like Fry, Texas, obviously hate people that are ethnically or religiously different than them. That's what you want your 5th grader or 6th grader to know about America, right? Yep. Oh, in other news, and the Cannes Lions Award goes to Anheuser-Busch.
No. No. Did they pay for that award?
Anheuser-Busch InBev collecting one of the event's highest honors, Creative Marketer of the Year.
What?
At the Cannes Lions Festival.
That's got to be a joke, right?
Not
Are
a
you reading
joke.
from the Babylon Bee?
No, I'm not.
The Onion?
No. Yes.
They're down 30% sale drop from this time last year.
You have to be
That's
very
like-
creative to cut your market cap by a quarter. You can't just,
It doesn't just happen.
You can't
okay?
just phone it in. You got to create. How can we knock out, a third of our business? You got to be creative.
Millions in stock options. I mean, how can we do this?
I hope Dylan Mulvaney was on site to share in the celebration. John in Lake Como, Wisconsin.
Yeah, these queer nuclear weapons, are they fission or fusion? Or are they trans-detonation? How does that work out?
Non-binary, blowable.
Yeah, they get to choose. Thanks, John.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Dave Nissen, CEO of PKF Mueller. As a CPA firm, we have been serving our business clients since 1968 by providing audit, accounting, tax, advisory, and consulting services. We as trusted advisors go beyond what our clients hired us to do by thinking outside the box to understand their operations and industry. We want to discover ways to increase their net income and cash flow by reducing costs or increasing efficiencies. To this end, PKF Mueller provides several client value-added services through strategic relationships. Our partners are specialists and serve the same type of clients that we do and add value by reducing our clients' overall electric and gas costs, discovering inaccuracies and overcharges on utility bills, assisting in financing of real estate, and helping to reduce uncollectible accounts and bad debt expenses. To learn more about our value-added service providers and how we can assist, call me directly at 630-524-5274 or dnissen@pkfmueller.com.
Trans-detonation. I'm still laughing about that one. That was good. You can shed that fat, be slimmer for the summer. No more wearing cover-ups or T-shirts in the pool. NJ Diet will help you the natural way. No shots, no hormones, no surgery. You lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40-plus pounds in only 40 days with NJ Diet. They use your hair, saliva, and blood work, along with bioenergetic scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements that get your body into the fat-burning zone so you can finally lose the weight. Then NJ Diet uses DNA info to help you keep it off. Best of all, it's contractually guaranteed. You're fully supervised the entire time to make sure you're burning fat, not just losing water. And you even get Dr. T's personal email and phone number. Dr. T is the NJ Diet founder. NJ Diet has locations close by in Skokie and Oak Brook, or is available from home with live online video consultations. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com.
Attention to all homeowners, contractors, and realtors. It's Sean Thompson. Do you have unwanted items cluttering your space? Whether it's old furniture, boxes, and appliances, or yard waste and renovation debris. There's no job too big or too small for Junk Jaws. They charge a flat fee for space your junk takes up on their truck. You pay for the space, and they supply the labor, removal, and disposal. They will even disassemble large items to make it easier for hauling. Junk Jaws is family-owned and operated by the children of parents I know, so you won't be paying for those high franchise fees. I only know entrepreneurs. What really makes Junk Jaws different from the competition is that they will donate lightly used small appliances, clothing, and furniture to local donation centers. Junk Jaws is reasonable, speedy, and professional. Look at the reviews. Junk Jaws has over 100 five-star reviews and counting. Declutter your space today. You can book directly online at junkjaws.com or over the phone at 833-586-5529. They even offer same-day estimates and pickups. Junk Jaws.
One of the most important decisions you can make as a parent is where you send your kids to school. But these days, it's never been harder to know which school is best. Public schools have changed a lot, and you might be thinking about sending your child to a private Christian school. But you also know that private school can be expensive, and in this economy, you might think it's not an option. Well, think again. With halfpriceschools.com, you can purchase tuition vouchers for half the price of normal tuition for private schools. For nearly 10 years, halfpriceschools.com has helped families from all over Chicagoland make the dream of private school a reality. And that can be the reality for you and your child, too. Just go to halfpriceschools.com, search for a private Christian school near you, and purchase a voucher. It's that easy. Visit halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Maybe some hope in K-12 in states like Georgia and Arkansas. May surprise you. But they're getting back to the basics. We'll discuss with Professor Mark Bauerlein, English professor at Emory University at 8:38.
But now let's head into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
73 degrees at 8:31. The search continues for a missing vessel exploring the Titanic wreck. But there may be some hope. Aaron Newman was a passenger on the same submersible that went down to the Titanic back in 2021.
Just hoping for this Hollywood ending to happen. And we know the Coast Guard and everybody else is working so hard. So and the Ocean Gate crew is working as hard as they can to possibly find this if anything is out there.
According to an internal government memo, crews are searching for the vessel after hearing banging sounds in 30-minute intervals on Tuesday. It's believed the submersible has less than 24 hours of breathable air left. The Coast Guard is now receiving help from the Canadian and U.S. Navy and Air Force. Congress is hearing testimony from the former special counsel who released a report highly critical of the FBI's investigation into ties between the Trump campaign and Russia that were alleged. House Judiciary Committee Chair Jim Jordan opened the investigation and the hearing this morning. As Speaker Kevin McCarthy called Hunter Biden's plea deal a sweetheart deal.
If you compare this to other individuals in America that have these same accusations against them, the same crimes that they had been guilty of, that they were proposed to have 10 years, another time period, I think that's a difference in justice.
Republican telling reporters the plea deal shows there's a two-tiered system of justice in America. The headquarters of the Paris 2024 Olympic Organizing Committee were searched by police. French police raiding the offices of the organizing committee. The BBC understanding this morning police are looking into allegations of the misuse of public money. Well, today is the summer solstice. It's the day with the most daylight of the year, and the benefits depend on where you live. In the northern hemisphere, you'll get some bonus daylight today. Solstice, by the way, is Latin for sun stands still. Means about 15 hours of daylight compared to the average of 9 hours in the winter. An illegal mob at a Southside gas station drew hundreds of young people and a large police presence on Tuesday night. People jumping on cars at the BP gas station near 31st and Michigan Avenue. There was one injury. 8 are hurt following a hit-and-run crash near Guaranteed Rate Field on Chicago's South Side.
It's highly unusual for how many years we've been and how many Sox games gone on that something like this occurred. So we're going to have to take a look back and see if there's anything else that Chicago police and the White Sox can do to help prevent this in the future.
And there were 4 arrests prior to a crash on the Dan Ryan near 46th. Police are looking for multiple suspects after an Uber driver was violently robbed in New Lenox. The driver was parked yesterday morning in the 1600 block of Eagles Circle when a stolen vehicle approached and 2 males armed with handguns exited. They pulled the driver from the vehicle, struck him on the head with a firearm, stole his wallet and cell phone, but somehow failed to steal the vehicle. White Sox 7-6 winners over the Rangers at Guaranteed Rate, while the Cubs blanked the Pirates 4-0. The news is a service of America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher explains Trump's surge.
Sunday morning shows yesterday, they're all in various
levels of hysteria over Trump. They cannot figure out why he keeps surging in popularity. They don't even understand it. Newsflash, Americans are rejecting the politically motivated prosecution that he's undergoing.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors in Roselle. Summer is here, which is the ideal time to brighten things up around the house and let the sunshine in. Make the rooms in your house that appear small, dark, or dingy look better and bigger with larger windows or patio doors. Our highly skilled craftsmen can enlarge openings if your space allows. For decades, Woodland has been transforming living spaces with Marvin windows, featuring styles ranging from modern to traditional. Marvin replacement windows and doors can also bring your backyard right into your living space. Ask us about connecting the inside to the outside. When you welcome a Woodland sales expert into your home, you'll get a product expert, a design consultant, a budget hawk, and someone who has your best interest in mind. Our professional services, along with the best products and installation, are why we are proud of our great online reviews. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
Before I was taking Balance of Nature, it was everything I had in me to do a full day. Now I have seen a big difference in my energy levels. It's awesome stuff. I just love the product. I am so glad I seen the commercial, went for it, and ordered me some. And then my husband said, have you seen that commercial of Balance of Nature? It's fruits and vegetables. And I looked at him and I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I think we ought to try it. And I says, I am. And so I says, I'll order you some. He loves it. I love it. We won't be without it.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. For a limited time this summer, get $25 off your first order as a preferred customer, plus a free fruits and veggies travel set with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
It's 8:38. The news, a service of Cabino Environmental. If you need an expert that can come in and clean up that fuel spill, visit Cabino Environmental. Get help at CabinoEnvironmental.com. In our Team Hochberg Traffic Center, the Kennedy inbound is at an hour and a half from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Outbound Kennedy, due to an earlier accident, you've got big delays between the Circle and Madison. Ike inbound, 78 heavy minutes. 390 into the old post office. An accident inbound between Des Plaines and the old post office still being cleaned up. And on the outbound Ike, 2 left lanes blocked with an accident between Oak Park Avenue and Manheim. Dan Ryan on the outbound side. Locals jammed up 35th down to 47th due to a rollover semi. 2 right lanes are blocked with accident cleanup. I-57 outbound shut down right now between 115th and 119th due to a bad accident. Traffic is a service of America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses. Take care of your eyes. Visit America's Best for a professional comprehensive eye exam. 2 pairs of glasses starting at just $79.95. Shop online or book an exam at americasbest.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Sunny skies and a high of 85. 73 right now. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. America First with Sebastian Gorka, today at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. I'm watching all this coverage of the submersible that's stuck in the Titanic, apparently. And I'm thinking, why don't they get those guys who rescued that Thai boys soccer team from the cave? You know?
In South America, yeah, that's right. I remember that.
South America, not.
No, it was in Thailand. It was in
Yeah,
Thailand.
Thailand's not in South America.
Sorry.
Unless
yeah,
it's been
that was-
relocated.
sorry, no. But there were some Chilean miners who were stuck too one time, and they got them out. But
sure.
no, it's just I just would never, even if you paid me $10 million, would never get in one of those tubes with 4 other people and then go. No. They went the depth of 2 Grand Canyons. So I mean, they have one more day of oxygen left. So
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. Maybe Viggo Mortensen, Joel Edgerton, those guys can go down. Did you see 13 Lives?
I did not see 13 Lives.
That's the movie about the Thai cave
The
rescue.
Thai-
I mean, there's a few movies. That was a good one, though.
There's a
I
I thought
recommend
there's
that.
a different one.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about K through 12 education, since we were poring over the recommended summer reading list from Tony Hinsdale, District 181. That's all sort of soft leftist agitprop, because you got to wean the kids on it in the primary grades. And most of these government school districts and a lot of private schools are doing their fair share of exactly that. But there are a couple of states that are going in the other direction. And this is brought to our attention by Professor Mark Bauerlein, professor of English at Emory University, senior editor at First Things, and author of The Dumbest Generation and The Dumbest Generation Grows Up. What happens after the dumbest generation grows up, we'll find out. Professor Bauerlein, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan and Amy, good morning.
So when the dumbest generation grows up, well, then they get elected to office, and then they start producing generations even dumber than them. Is that sort of the life cycle?
That could be the unfortunate slide. The dumbest generation I put as the millennials, and I actually thought that Gen Z was going to be a reaction against the millennials and their screen addictions and their political correctness and their scolding cancel culture. But what has happened actually in the last few years with the pandemic is that Gen Z looks like it may be in bigger trouble than the millennials. The NAEP scores came out just yesterday, and from 2020 to 2023, the NAEP scores are the reading and math national scores done by the federal government, and the math went down 8 points. It was the biggest drop in 50 years in so short a time. Reading went down 4 points. And that was, a big part of the pandemic, putting kids in a room, putting them on a screen, telling them don't go outside, don't talk to anyone, just get online. And, of course, how many of those kids were online, supposed to be in class, but were playing Fortnite instead? And we see the drop. And what we need in the curriculum is a return to a lot of the old reading study habits that progressive education eliminated. And the big one, you're talking about recently, this Wall Street Journal piece I had is about Arkansas and Georgia have put memorization and recitation of great poems, speeches, soliloquies, and plays back into the curriculum. Progressives hate it because it's rote memorization, because it preserves the past, and we're so much better than those old guys are. We're so much smarter and purer. And so, but they did it. We did it in Arkansas and Georgia. I was, involved in this. It's a wonderful thing. We need to have kids more immersed in the great writings of the great tradition.
And that would help. But also when it comes to math, I mean, how did Common Core affect math? Because, 2 + 2 = 4, but then they say explain why that is.
I know.
I mean, that was so goofy because I went to meeting after meeting about Common Core. Trying to get rid of it.
This explain. No. Have the kids do the calculations. Have them do their times tables so that it becomes automatic in their heads. It just becomes, your basic exercise, and this deeper thinking, this critical examination of concepts and ideas. Having 12-year-olds do this. Absurd. And people don't talk very much about Common Core anymore. They don't hail it because it has produced such disappointing results. But Dan and Amy, it is still very much active. It's very much a part of the curriculum.
Of course.
In many states. Florida, we got rid of Common Core in Florida. Georgia and Arkansas. Yeah, this is different. And these are 3 red states. And I honestly do not understand why so many red states with solid Republican conservative governors are letting ed school professors still direct the standards and curricula for those states. Wake up, you guys. This is a huge influence. You want to know why the millennials are 2/3 Democrat? You want to know why Gen Z may be even worse? Look at the public schools and what you have allowed to happen there.
Absolutely. I mean, it was an interesting piece out of Oregon. A government school principal who lived in Central Oregon with her husband and their children, 3 children. She was adopted from Seoul, South Korea, grew up in Nebraska. She said her own public school experience was not all roses. Neither was her husband's in Texas. And after struggling with having little control over what she was so passionate about, this principal named Mandy Davis, who has a master's in education and instruction design, worked in both public and private schools, she's out. She's out. I couldn't be the change I wanted to be in our school system, but more so, I couldn't leave my children in it to suffer. So pulling up stakes, essentially going on to homeschool her 3 kids because, as she said, I want to raise thinkers.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, just so somebody from in the system, both systems, public and private, background in education, all the credentials that,
Right.
and here's her conclusion. So it's always interesting to hear from those inside the system and what they're seeing, those that are courageous enough to be honest.
The exodus from public schools is not completely made off of conservative traditionalist people, parents pulling their kids out. Liberal parents have had it too. They want good, solid education in math and reading and science and art, and they don't want to hear sex lessons, and they don't want to hear critical race theory nonsense. They don't want to hear tendentious politics and ideology thrown at their own kids. And people are moving. They're moving away. They are opening charter schools. The classical education private schools are exploding. It's still a small group, but it is growing very, very fast. The Catholic schools are seeing their enrollment numbers go up. A lot of those Catholic schools really aren't that great, but they're an option for people because they see, one of the things the pandemic famously did was parents would be in the room and they would start hearing the lessons. They'd hear the class discussions, and they would say to themselves, wait a minute, this is what is going on in the school? And they reacted. They pulled out. I mean, New York City has lost some like 300,000 public school students in the last few years. A lot of people moved out because of their kids. I don't want my kids to be part of this. And let's just hope that it keeps going. Let's hope that other states catch on and realize we have to go back to basics. We have to go back to the traditional forms of instruction. We've got to have kids read great books, know about ancient myth and Bible stories. We need to build their cultural literacy and stop acting like we're in the 21st century now. We don't need to worry about all that old stuff.
Yeah, but we have to do this in a way without using screens. Because, I mean, we're telling our kids, only be online or be, on your phone or your iPad for certain hours. And then COVID hit, and then it was all day, all the time. And now we got to get them back off of it.
Well, Amy, here's where I stand. In my comp classes, my freshman composition classes at Emory University, I often have students turn in their papers handwritten, preferably in cursive.
Oh, good for
and
you.
I think, well, it's a good thing for them to do. It slows them down. It makes them craft their sentences. When they're doing it by hand, they actually take a little more care with their word choice, with the transitions between sentences and paragraphs, instead of just going on the keyboard. So I urge this, and actually we see cursive. Cursive was brought back in Georgia. Teaching cursive writing is very good for kids. For one thing, in cursive, it helps them learn their spelling. It helps dyslexia because when you write in cursive, you don't just write individual letters. You have to think about the next letter and the next letter because they all have to be connected. Third grade teachers will tell you cursive, very good for teaching spelling.
All right, I'm going to give you a little quiz, Professor. I'm going to turn the tables.
Oh boy.
See if you can name this poem, and it has a relatively famous line. The portion I'll recite, so I think you probably get it. Shall life succeed in that it seems to fail? What I aspired to be and was not comforts me. A brute I might have been, but would not sink in the scale. Name that poem or poet.
Yeah,
What is this, Jeopardy?
You got me. You got me.
Well, here's the thing. So this is a poem I memorized, and this poet became my favorite poet when I was in high school and college. It's Robert Browning's Rabbi Ben Ezra.
Got it. I was going to say 19th century. It's one of the more great. Browning, one of the. You got me, Dan.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Good thing you're good thing you're tenured.
Oh my gosh.
But the point is, the point is, I remember that, and I can recite In Flanders Fields and other poems, and Shakespearean sonnets. And the point is, so I learned that in school and by reading. And I just want you to comment, because this is what we're really talking about in Georgia and Arkansas, about the importance of the spoken word and the ability to recite. It's not just to put on airs. There's a point to it, because, and I'll give you the point that I take away, and please add or comment. The point is that because I remember that poem and other parts of poems, that was time I spent trying to understand what the poet was communicating. And so, for example, Rabbi Ben Ezra, the top line is basically, our destiny is in God's hands. Okay, so now that's a big concept to think about. So the point is not to recite it to show off. It's to say that I put that poem, its meaning, its big ideas to memory. I thought about it. It's what that principal leaving to homeschool her kids said. I want my kids to grow up to be thinkers. And that, to me, is what things like doing things the old way, as you say, this is why they're so important.
Dan, your teacher did a wonderful thing. Your parents did a wonderful thing. You have poems memorized. You got the great lines, the great eloquence of the past. It's part of you. It's in your head. It's not just a homework assignment. It becomes part of your sensibility, and you've got that now. You can call upon those words. How wonderful it is to send kids out into the world with a few dozen of them. I mean, they know a lot of poems because they know songs.
Yeah, right.
And they should be able to get the poems as well, or the great lines from great speeches as well. And you're right. When we get a 17-year-old memorize a Browning dramatic monologue, or that the kid, first of all, he gets a lot better words than he's going to find on his Instagram feed. He also learns public speaking, intonation, projection, emphasis, pitch, which is very good for teenagers. Also, it's what you said. You really have to understand those words. You have to become Robert Browning or one of his characters. You got to get out of your own adolescent ego and actually imagine the life, the experience of another human being. What a great thing for teenagers to do, right? So these are all the benefits. You just gave us proof of the value.
I know some Shel Silverstein poems.
Sure, Light in the Attic.
Yeah,
very good. Also,
where the sidewalk ends. I cannot go to school today, said Little Pig, and I won't do that.
Yeah, very.
I remember that, and I love those books, Falling Up.
Oh yes,
Mark, you'll have to forgive her. She went to Iowa. So,
that's so rude.
That's she topped out.
I went to
at
public
Shel
school too.
Silverstein. Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
But it's great for the little kids too to memorize these. Dr. Seuss, memorize that. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. I've got a lot of that. It's great. It's great to have the rhythm. Amy, I imagine you remember the pictures.
Oh yes.
Of the Silverstein as well. You see it on the page, and you carry that experience with you. You smile when you think of it. That's the joy that comes. I mean, there's a great joy with having memorized something. I see it when students go back to their seats. They struggle when they present it to the class, but when they return to their seats, their faces. It's not just relief, it's actually a feeling of accomplishment. I did it. I performed. I completed this. It was a tough assignment, and I did it. We want to give the kids self-esteem because of what they've done. because of their accomplishment, not just we're all wonderful.
You're making me want to transfer my son from Georgia Tech to Emory.
Yeah, well, at least he's in Georgia. That's the good news.
Yeah, that's good.
Professor,
That's very good.
yeah,
That's
Professor.
good.
Professor Mark Bauerlein, Professor of English at Emory, Senior Editor of First Things, author of both The Dumbest Generation and The Dumbest Generation Grows Up. Professor Bauerlein, thanks as always. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Everyone knows that crime is on the rise. It's imperative that law enforcement agents have the information they need to keep citizens safe and protect themselves as well. If you are a sworn law enforcement agent certified in the state of Illinois and working for an agency in Illinois, you might be interested in this announcement. Would you like to have an on-the-job decision-making tool at your fingertips? Law Enforcement Agency Data Systems information is available to you at an affordable price when you use the Illinois Public Safety Agency Network products, Bullet or Mini Bullet. Your Android or Apple-based handheld mobile device, phone or tablet can receive this data. In addition, your desktop or laptop can also receive this information via the internet. Just call the Illinois Public Safety Agency Network at 773-693-3000 or visit ipsan.org. And pilot Bullet or Mini Bullet. That's 773-693-3000 or visit ipsan.org.
We're here at Tax Relief Advocates, a leader in helping people resolve their IRS debt. With me is Leah. Leah, there's a lot going on here.
There sure is. In this economy, a lot of Americans are struggling with IRS debt. But whether you owe $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, at Tax Relief Advocates, we have a solution. There are special programs that the IRS offer for debt forgiveness, and our team of experts use our proven 3-step process to help those who qualify negotiate the settlement of their tax debts for significantly less than they owe.
And there's zero risk, right?
If we can't reduce your tax debt, you owe us nothing.
That's a great offer, and the reviews back you up.
They sure do. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ rating with the BBB.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't ignore it. Do something about it. What's the first step, Leah?
For your free tax debt consultation, go to TRA.com or give us a call. Call 800-583-4890. That's 800-583-4890. 800-583-4890.
Illinois legislators passed a bill that allows non-citizens to become sworn police officers. If the bill becomes law, it would mean that a non-citizen could arrest an American citizen on American soil. Imagine being pulled over for even just a speeding ticket, only to later find out that a non-citizen, someone who themselves may have entered the country illegally or whose parents entered the country illegally, is now the officer giving you a ticket, or worse, arresting you. It's absurd. And fortunately, the bill that passed, even if signed by the governor, appears to require a federal change in law before it can go into effect. Citizenship means something. Politicians diluting the meaning and also handing out our tax money and privileges is a real threat to our country. I'm Jeannie Ives. Changing public policy starts by being informed. Sign up for my newsletter at breakthrough-ideas.com. That's breakthrough-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, what are you doing today? Oh, how was your tournament the other day? You're
I'm
scrambling.
playing Indian Hill.
Oh, today?
Yeah. Well, been playing better, so it's good.
We got to get ready for tomorrow's tournament.
The upper crusters in Indian Hill. Haverkamp. Yeah, that's Indian Hill, the Murray brothers, the inspiration for Caddyshack. Mr. Haverkamp, actual dude at the club.
Okay.
House is on the course. I know the house. Oh. And you know how he hated. I've said this before, right? I think I've shared this. Haverkamp hated the portrayal of Mr. and Mrs. Haverkamp as old duffers.
I'm sure.
He was a good player. And so he must have done something to upset the Murray brothers, and they immortalized him in a way that he clearly did not enjoy.
No.
So be careful. Be good to your caddies.
Yes. Good luck today. All right. Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick and Quinn McCarthy. Plenty of sunshine today. Warm, a high of 85 degrees. It is now 9 a.m. WIND Chicago.
It was a Trump